Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be on the world, or in the world, or on the world. Welcome. It's good to have everybody out around here. Let's see. Looks like all the usual suspects are in there. Welcome, everyone. Glad to have you aboard as always. Let's see. Let's see if we can scare you guys here a little bit. Oh, here we go. Okay, volume. Well, hold on a minute. Let me make sure this is working okay. Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. All right, let's see. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Get a little more audio out of that. There we go. All right, what's going on, everyone? Cameron, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Let me go to my liveage here. Tony, yeah, I got your what do you call it? Email, by the way. I just happened to read them today. So yeah, I believe it's the same Tony. I think I could be wrong, but either way, got a couple emails lately. Some people saying, "Hey, man, check this out, check this out." So we just got into those. We're gonna be checking that out. So yeah, fun. Let me see. All right. I think we're good. Subway. Eat fresh. Set this over here. So what's happening, everybody? What's going on? Is it cold in your neck of the woods? It's about 33 degrees Fahrenheit right now. It's supposed to go down to, I said it was supposed to be like 21, but now it's leveling off. It might be somewhere in the 20s, maybe a little higher than that. I'm not sure. Excuse me. Drink's gonna kill me. Claudia with a chance of UFOs. What's going on? Say hello, Chris. How's it going, man? Pretty good. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Enrico. Viglione. Or Viglione, depending on which way you want to pronounce. Do ETs like Tim Hortons? Could very well be. Maybe the mocha? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Let's hope it's not human flavored. That wouldn't be good, would it? Pete's Vlog says, "Oh, I'm so full of too much turkey." Yeah, I hear you, man. I ate like a buffalo yesterday, so I'm gonna probably have to swim over to you guys in the UK just to burn off some of the turkey I ate. But it's all good, right? It's not like we eat it every day like that. But it is leftovers. Gotta love that. Had some of that today. That was awesome stuff. Awesome. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I hope everybody really did. Natural Spirit, what's going on? He said, "I miss USA." Noodles, what's going on, man? Hello, Chris. Hi, Mimi Rags. Talking to everybody there. Good to see you there, Noodles. What's going on there, Blue Utopia? Good to see you in there. Mars the Second Genesis, what's going on? Tony, that's not good. Hi, everyone. This was the worst hangover I've had in a long time. I'm fine now, but this morning was a biatch. Chris, you have been working overtime. Great content. I appreciate it, Tony. Yeah, watch out for those. A little too much of those. You know how that works. You're like, oh my God. Wake up and feel like you got your face kicked in. I hate that. I used to do that when I was younger. Don't do it now. Way younger. Only because, yeah, people do that. They just go, I can handle my stuff. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, right. It's the when you're hanging out with your friends, you can always tell the guys that are drunk. The ones that are real drunk. "I love you, man. You're the best." Yeah, they get a little too tipsy. It's like, I love you too. Stay at a distance. Kyron McCourt, what's going on? He said, "Hi all, London calling." London calling to the faraway world. Oh, anyway. Good tune, by the way. Mimi Reacts, what's going on? Good to see you there, Mimi. Elaine's in there. Elaine Millard. Let's see. Jenny Rogers, how you doing? Good to see you in there. Says, "Hello, everyone." Hello, Jenny. I hope you're doing well. I see some new faces in here. That's awesome. You guys are welcome. Welcome aboard. What's going on, Adam? Good to see you in there. He said, morning, everyone. It must be Saturday where you're at. I forgot where you're at, Adam. There's so many people in here, you're just like, I don't know where anybody's at anymore. You try to, but... John McDonald. Hi, Chris, and all ready for another interesting session. Oh, yeah. When did you send that? March the 2nd, Genesis. Hi, Chris. Hope you're doing well. I've sent you an email. Very cool indeed. Yeah, did you send it just earlier? Or when did you send that? I think I checked it. Was it last evening? I don't know if you... I just finally get into that. I think I peeked at him this morning, too, briefly. But that was pretty much it. Natural Spirit, you said, yes, there was life on Mars about 1 million years ago. A outer body came into our solar system and hit one of Mars' moons. That same moon then hit Mars 2 times and made a giant canyon on Mars. So you're talking about the Valles Marineris area. Some people say it's like a lightning kind of thing where between 2 planets is just... I don't know about all that. It's all I can do is just kind of speculate or hypothesize what could have happened. Because it's kind of the Grand Canyon of Mars, right? Which it's pretty large. I think they said the United States can fit in that Grand Canyon in the Valles Marineris area. So it's quite lengthy. Not so much, obviously, it's longer than it is wide. So, yeah. So interesting regardless. But, yeah, I mean, there's so many theories, right, to what happened. You know, because I said the same thing, and there was an article that said it might have been some sort of... like outer body, like I said before, it could have been, and I even said the same thing, it could have been some body flying through the solar system. It could have been a bunch of them that hit our moon, Mars, Earth at one time, so on and so forth. I'm not so sure about how long ago Mars had life, though. So in other words, you may be correct, and of course, it's anybody's good guess. It, you know, could be how long it was, Mars was hit. But life might have started again, or they weren't completely killed off, whatever. I think as far as the current state that Mars is in, I think it wasn't that long ago, truthfully. What's going on there, Limey? Good to see you in there. Hi, Chris, and all. Pete Ferrero, what's going on? He said, hello, Chris, and chat today, and the chat today. Natural Spirit said they went to the other worlds and died. Those who came to Earth adapted. Dingo 1666, she said, for once I caught it right on time. Awesome. That is awesome. Elaine, had my supper very early today, so it feels weird not munching now with Hangouts on. Yeah, I know, because you're kind of like used to doing that. I usually eat just before I do the Hangout, but it's like, I get like, it's like a tradition. We usually get like a Subway, some kind of sandwich from there. And it's funny because I'll have like half of it, go get the little foot long. And you'll eat half of it, and it's like you're starving before you even get back off the live feed. It's pretty funny. There you go, Kyron. I haven't had a Mars for quite a while. Pretty tasty, weren't they? What's going on there, Mr. Mike Knapp? Good to see you in there. Eric Bauer's in there. He says, I made it. Yes, you did, Eric. Good to see you in there, man. Eric Bauer's in the hizoo. Jack Snow, what's going on? Well met, everyone. What's going on, Jack? Massanissa, what's going on? I said, you said, I hope everyone is doing well. We are. I am. Hope everybody else is doing well as well. Yeah, that's not good, Tony. Riding a motorcycle with a cigar is not a good plan. Plus, there were a lot of drunks on the road, besides me. But they had cars wrapped around. Ooh, yeah, that's not good. Yeah, you can do some crazy stuff. Listen, I know people who are on bikes and stuff like that. Really good riders, too. And for some reason, they just happen to be a little too much in the sauce. And next thing you know, a good friend of my wife's, her husband died trying to get off an off-ramp, but I don't know if he was drinking that time. Heck, you can hit a patch of dirt. That's all it takes. And if you're going at a good clip trying to take a corner going off the exit, well, you know how that is. You just dump the bike in a hurry. What's going on there, Mr. Cyberpunk? Good to see you in there. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. It is indeed. Richard Petrozzi, what's happening? Evening, troops, as we say in Glasgow slang. Here in the west, old Scotland. Elaine, you said the weather forecast says tomorrow is worse for UK weather-wise. So it puts pay to my garden visit. Yeah, and a visit. And it's going to be blowing 50. Woof, man, it is pretty windy, isn't it? 50 to 80 miles an hour. Hell, I think we went up to maybe 13 miles an hour today. It was just one of those weird things. Just a cold front coming through. And actually, it was only like 36 degrees today, which is really weird. But it is that time of year. Everything's up and down. You know how that goes. I'm doing well, Cameron. I hope you're doing good. Paul Cargo says, hello all. What's going on, Paul? Mark Lewis is in there. Good evening, everyone, he says. Oh, I feel you, Tony. He said this whole day disappeared. Had no idea it was 5 already, but did get notices on my tablet and computer, so guess they're working again. Yeah, I know, that's weird, isn't it? It's just like, one minute everybody's like, I didn't get anything. You know, whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. And the next thing you know, everybody's got it. It's like, what is going on here? Renee V's in there. Roger Radcliffe, what's going on, Roger? Venus has been extra bright lately. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. This thing just jumped on me. I hate it when it does this. Oliver Klein, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Yep, it's the Grand Canyon of Mars, pretty much. That's what they call it. Lionheart Glassworks, what's going on? Good to see you in there, man. Okay, Dingo, you said not new, but never catch this live. Well, you have today, so glad you're here. Rodney Evans says, D.C. area here. What's going on in D.C.? Is it cold there too? Sure it is. Well, you guys usually get the weather, well, depending on, yeah. Usually get it after. Jenny says, awesome. Hello, Chris. Hello, Jenny. Friday with a chance of UFOs. I had ham and cheese, toasted sandwiches, and 2 hash browns for my tea tonight. That sounds pretty good. High Grade Gaming's in there. What's going on there, High Grade? Good evening to you as well. I like that, Mike. I used to be an alcoholic. I just drink a hell of a lot now. There you go. As long as you're as long as you're like cautious. I know people are like, they'll say, dude, man, I'll get like totally blitzed. I mean, boom. But you know what? They're home. You know, don't get me wrong. It's good to be social, good to hang out with your friends. But it's like, one of my friends is like, he's constantly, every time, it's like you almost hear him getting in an accident almost all the time. He's like constantly, he's at the bar. I said, why don't you just save yourself a whole bunch of money? Have a bunch of your friends hang out at your house. And as long as they're not heavy drinkers or anything like that, go to your house, watch a game, chill, play a card game, whatever it is you guys like to do, and then, get completely blitzed and, 3 sheets to the wind. Who gives a crap? At least you're home. You pass out, you're there, Because you hate to see somebody just go out and get killed or kill somebody else in the process, What's going on there, Mr. Paul McCoon? Hi, Chris, and everyone, and Josh. No. Andrew Munchkin says, it's snowing in northern Vermont. I have my snowmobile hoard ready. First ride will be on my 1974 Cheetah. Oh, that's awesome. My buddy, he moved up there, oh boy, it's been about 2 or 3 years now. He lives up in Vermont. I'm trying to remember what town he said. It's about a good hour and a half, 2 hours from the borderline into Vermont, but he lives up there now. I said, why would you want to move up there? But he got a good deal on it. It was like, I don't know if it was like 8 acres of land, and he paid like, I think it's like $58,000. Brand new garage, it's bigger than the house. The house has all been updated, everything's been done to it. So he's up there now, he's putting his own work into it and stuff like that. And I said, why would you do that? He's got arthritis, bursitis, and every other darn thing. Even his doctor thought he had a couple loose screws. He said, what are you doing? If anything, you should be heading south. This way you're not constantly achy and everything all the time, you know? Yeah, I said, yeah, I don't think I'd be doing that either. Alien Teno, yeah, a little bit. He said, you all stuff from that turkey? Mine's coming in, coming on Christmas Day. AB stays high. I've been following for a while, but I don't really interact. Don't always watch every episode, but I'll probably be here more often. Yeah, why not? You know, even if you just listen to the chat and you want to get in there, ask a question, maybe somebody else, you know, you're talking with somebody else. Good group of people here. You know, if you're into a lot of this stuff and, you know, what we talk about is basically Mars, Moon, and anything else, it's science. You know, if you like that sort of thing and you can't talk it with other friends and relatives, maybe they think you're one of the, what do they call those? The tin hat, foil, whatever the heck silliness they come out with. Which, you know, the ones that usually say that don't do any research and they don't even want to know what's going on. But me personally, I like to know what's going on, you know. And a lot of people are here because it's like-minded people. We have a great time here. We don't get really out of control. We don't disrespect each other or nothing like that. So, yeah. Let's see. I think jumped on me. I'm just going to go ahead and go down to the bottom. If you guys already left a comment or a question, please do so, and I'll get back to you. Alfie Joe Bob, what's going on? What is happening? Let's see. Emmanuel Printabs, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris. What's going on, Emmanuel? Pete, he said Elon might want to go to Mars, but he's making plenty of money here. Las Vegas just okayed his tunnel and driverless car system. Well, the thing is, even if he was on Mars right now, let's say we got a civilization there, we built a colony, he'd still be making big bank. You know that. He'd be making money, you know. His stocks and everything work for him, right? Yeah, when I can, Ricardo. He said, apparently live stream from Mars? Yeah, a little bit. I try not to tell anybody, though, so shh. Mike Allen, what's happening? He said, hey, Chris, how you doing? I'm doing fine, Mike. How are you? Eric Gower says, snow sucks. I don't know. Here's the weird thing. It's like, you don't, as far as actual snow, I don't know if you're talking about the other guy, but that wouldn't be good. But the thing is, it's like when I see snow, I'm like, I love it. I don't know about you guys, but it's like, I don't like the inconvenience of it if you got to go places. So that's an inconvenience. But as far as like, if you're just chilling like on a Christmas day, it's snowing nice and everybody's just chilled out, maybe having a good meal, and hanging with the family and friends and stuff like that. But, you know, in addition to that, I like to just go out and drive in it. It's like driving that virgin snow. It's like, oh, this is cool. It's when they come out with the plows and everything else, and it just go, and you just might as well just get it all out of there. Mimi Reaction said, Chris, I get super depressed after drinking alcohol. I know some of my friends are like that. Really weird, but it's just the way it is. Let me see. Exactly, Mimi. He said, slush mixed with dirt and cigarette, yuck. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, there you go. Captain McMuffin, what's going on? Is it Friday this time? Absolutely. Well, you guys know. Well, I don't know if all of you are there because I don't think we had quite the amount of people we usually have. I had one specifically on Wednesday on the 24th. It's kind of like a, you know, anniversary of Sarah's passing. Plus, I was messing around with my other microphone that I had. So I called it test, and then I put Sarah anniversary, and then I put chat, which we got into a lot of chit-chat about, it was just about everything. But we had some chat about the COVID, we're going to call it, going on. And I actually got an interesting letter and I'm not going to say the person's name because out of respect for them, but they thought I was doing a little disinformation or misinformation. Did you guys see that I did any of that? Like, he said that I made it political. I don't know about a political thing. I mean, I'm pretty much saying, you know, what in my point of view about getting the vax and all that, which I didn't think was for me. Now, I don't speak for others. I pretty much said, listen, I'm not here to judge anybody. I just want people to know the facts. And he says, you're doing a misinformation kind of thing. People look up to you kind of thing. I said, what part did I lie about? First of all, we were talking about Germany, and of course, I think it was Austria, trying to make it literally like mandatory. And I mean mandatory. There's like law kind of thing. That's true. There was talking about women. Some women had gotten blood clots. Actually, some people, not just women. There was women who were literally in there so much of a trimester, or certain when they were pregnant and stuff like that, how they were, you know, miscarrying. There was enlargement of the hearts in a lot of young adults, and mostly males. That pretty much, yeah. And he said, well, and I don't know why he called it political, but for some reason that's what he did. He turned it into political. And I'm saying, listen, hold on. Because he said, like, basically a lot of Trump thumpers like to talk this and, you know, all this other stuff. And I said, well, first of all, let me just get rid of that notion first. When I voted for myself for president. My wife absolutely hates Trump, and she's not going to get it. So that blows that theory out of the water. Nowhere was I trying to make it political, unless, of course, you go borderline saying, like, the big pharma and stuff like that. But that's not political. That's just telling the facts. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, but if anybody was like on the fence about that, you know, and if this other gentleman's watching, which one do you think is, well, first of all, they were saying something about, I bet you watch Fox News and all these other places. Okay, well, why don't we do this? You know, so I can back up what I'm saying, right? Washington women died after rare vaccine-related blood clot. Okay, now they said it was only like 7 out of 1 million people who got it. Now, some may say, well, that's just, you know, it's no big deal. I say it is a big deal. That could be your mom. That could be your loved one. That could be a best friend. You know, just because it happens to be very low numbers doesn't mean they're disposable. That's what I don't get. How about this one, if you don't like, you know, what I've been saying? Okay, how about CDC? You know, this one here. Actually, this is the one we're talking about. Is Germany set to introduce compulsory vaccination? We talked about this last week. And you guys, I think I said it was Australia, and you guys said, no, it's Austria. I said, okay, you're right. So I stood corrected, and I don't have an issue with that. But they're literally saying this. Now, let me see if this is on, because I want you guys to hear this. This is what it comes down to. It's not about the right, the left, political, anything. It's about, well, let me backtrack. When I mentioned about, I used an analogy about a woman who has been raped, you know, sadly. And, you know, they want to take these people's rights away if they got, you know, like they've been raped, they've been battered, and everything else. And now they're saying pretty much, well, you can't get an abortion, so, you know, you just basically got to live with the child. Some women can do that. Some, not so much. You know, PTSD. Thank you. I said it real quick, and it sounded like, okay. So is it right that a woman should have to carry the child if they don't want to? They have the right to their own bodies, and it goes for anything. It's not about, and what they did was they went, well, here's the thing, though. If a child dies because of that, they can't pass along any disease to another child. I said, it's not about that. It's about your rights. It doesn't matter about that. They missed the whole point what I was trying to say. Once you lose that right, then you lose other. Whatever happened to civil rights here, people? What's going on here? So, yeah. Oh, there you go, Ricardo. Appreciate you, man. Just to keep up with the tradition for the JPL and NASA boys to get some lens wipes. Oh, yeah. Wait till you see the one I'm just coming up with, too. That one is really wild. That one there should be out Monday, as usual. So, again, Ricardo, thank you very much, sir. You guys are awesome. Listen to what this girl's got to say. Now, this is I believe that she's in Germany, I think. Let me make sure the volume's good here.
We want our freedom, and being injected by something that's not tested well, being not able to work where you want to work, to be where you want to be, that's not where we stand for. That's not freedom, that's not where we live. We live in West Europe, and we just want to be free like we were before.
They're young people, and they've had little freedom for almost 2 years now because of COVID-19. So yes, I understand in a way, but I don't approve.
To make a point, to stand for our freedom and to demand for more open communication from the government and to the civilians, from the politicians especially, from the scientists, that they make clear stances and be clear and fair with us, and also respect our opinion, which is some of us, we don't want to get vaccinated.
We're being put under pressure now, and ultimately, we're no longer free. I'll submit to the pressure, but honestly, I'm convinced mandatory vaccination is coming.
Now, to me, that's not right. Let me see here.
We want our freedom.
Okay. So, again, if they're saying, well, some people are saying, well, he's pulling this information at his rear end. How about this one? And this is usafacts.org, and it's talking about side effects and everything else, and you can read this. Really interesting. And let me see if this was the one. Let me see if it goes down here. It says complication is rare, which that part I don't agree with, because at least they had this on YouTube before, but now they're literally making it very scarce, where you can't get the information. They don't mind showing you videos where, let's say, and I'm going to show you this as a doctor on here, I think his last name's Cole, where he was on there, had a documentary type thing on there. It's gone, but you can find it in other places, and I'm going to show you that. They don't mind doing a thing saying, oh, this person's trash, to try to get their information kind of like saying, he's just nothing but, he's just blowing smoke. He's a liar, whatever. It's okay to do that, but they don't want you to show what the guy really has to say about it, right? But anyway, so a lot of people saying, well, maybe Chris is pulling us out of a rear end. At least this other guy was anyway. But maybe you'll believe this. Maybe this one here. Again, USA Facts. How about this one here? Experts talking about COVID vaccines likely tied to heart inflammation. Okay. Yeah, I've seen this too, guys. I know you guys are saying this. Again, Ricardo, thank you. You said new variant release hits the shelves in time for Christmas. Oops, my cynical side is slipping out. Well, and isn't that weird? Because this doctor also says that usually these viruses have like a 6 to 9 month, they call it like a shelf life or life. And what happens is, obviously they'll die off automatically. Funny how the new ones crop up every single darn time, right? Imagine that. So anyway, you can read this. If anybody wants to link this, I will give you a link. Look, here's one from here. This is from BBC. I know some of you guys are like, kind of if on that. But again, heart inflammation linked to Pfizer and Moderna jabs. Okay, how about this one? This is CDC, myocarditis and pericarditis after COVID-19 vaccine. And if you can see it right here, what you need to know. Cases of myocarditis. And people were talking about this on YouTube, by the way, where they're still not right. They have the problems after COVID vaccination, and they're talking about Pfizer, rather, and Moderna, especially in male adolescents and young adults. Then it says more often after the second dose, usually within a week of vaccination, okay? It says a lot of times they'll take care of them. It says responded well to medicine and rest and felt better quickly. Okay. Both myocarditis and pericarditis have the following symptoms: chest pain, shortness of breath, feelings of having fast beating, fluttering, and pounding heart. And they were asking one of these things saying, could you have a heart attack? And they said, yes, of course. This is what's funny. Should I still get myself or my child vaccinated? Yes. So it doesn't matter that these, even if it's 7 out of 1 million people who get it. So are these people expendable? This could be somebody's loved one. And that's okay? Come on, man. Where's this world going to? How about this one? If you don't like Fox, how about this one here? This one's NBC News. Evidence grows stronger for COVID vaccine linked to heart issue, CDC says. Okay? How about this one here? This one here actually says coronavirus is a biological warfare weapon. Yes, it is. Now, if you go on YouTube and a lot of places online, they'll say no, they are not. Because they don't want you to stop getting this thing. Okay? This one here. Now, this site was known, at least on factcheck.org or whatever it was, they said some of these doctors were bogus. Here's the thing, though. Let's go down here. Where they're talking about 2,620 fetal deaths in And of course, they're talking about these vaccines and everything else, injections in pregnant women. Remember they had this study saying, we don't think they're quite safe yet because, women that are pregnant, please hold off. Then they said, okay, we got the green light to do it. Well, there's issues now. And people, they're not going full term. They're actually losing their children. Again, wrong. Not cool. Okay, how about this one? This one here, spontaneous abortion following COVID-19 vaccination during pregnancy. This is a study being done. You can see up here it says the citations, there's 3 of them. You can find it here. Okay, there you go. There you go. And of course, this is the doctor I was telling you about, Dr. Ryan Cole. He had this long thing on there talking about how he's actually a scientist for this stuff and what was happening. Well, I shouldn't say what was happening. He's the guy that all the doctors in hospitals go to. He's, a virologist, pathologist. He's the one that looks under these microscopes and checks it for whatever's going on with it through a course of time. And funny enough, a lot of his stuff disappeared. But you look his name up, there's always people trying to, I don't know if I want to use the term defame him, because it's not like he was trying to be famous. But I'll also tell you in this video, I'm not trying to be, I'm not political. I don't believe in that. I just believe in science. That's pretty much what he's saying. And it's 28 minutes long, okay? So I don't pull this stuff out of my rear end. I do my research on it. Now, even if you say, well, some of that's kind of bogus, okay. But what about the rest of it? It's there. It's been out there. It's been in the news. But they're trying to suppress this information so badly, and nobody really knows what's going to happen. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody might be just perfectly fine and never have an issue. Awesome. That's what I want to hear, more than anything. So I'm optimistic. I also said it's up to everybody what they want to do or inject into their body, right? Me personally, I always said my opinion, just me, myself, I'm not speaking for nobody else, that I don't want to get it. That's all. Anybody else who's got it, go for it. I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm just trying to make people aware just in case they're like, I'm kind of on the fence, man. I'm hearing this weird stuff going on. In fact, there's a girl that works at me. She ended up with it, and she's a smoker, and she had some major issues with this. But now she'll come out, and she'll have more antibodies than about 10 people put together that got the shot. So, yeah. So I understand both sides of it. People say, no, but if you get it, there's a less chance if you do get the new one, even the booster and everything else, you have a lot less chance if you do get it. Now, you guys are just talking about how the new variant just come out and that they're saying that there's a possibility that the shot you got won't mean squat. It won't do a thing. But it's funny how these things keep coming out, isn't it? First it was like last year, and then, a good half of this year started to dive off. Everything's good. And all of a sudden, here we go again. Well, then there's the Delta. Oh, wait a minute. Then there's another one. But they were also talking about, was it parts of Africa where they said they can't, they pretty much went through it unscathed. And they're wondering how the hell they did that. And it's like a story on that too, right? So really interesting. So just so everybody knows, and if that other person's watching, because I can tell you what they were pretty much saying here. And, I understand the concern. They don't want people saying, hey, listen, don't just blow this out of proportion and give people, misinform them. I get it. I totally get it. But you got to remember, you're talking to a person that had it too, double pneumonia. So I pretty much been there, done that. And he says, well, there's effing people dying. Okay, and I had friends that died from it. Okay, I'm not insensitive to it. But I'm also not insensitive to the fact that if people are going, here's my thing. What if you say, well, everybody else has gotten it, so you push it on somebody else. That somebody you just pushed on it, well, now all of a sudden they get it, and all of a sudden anaphylactic. Or blood clots and they die. It's a loved one of yours. Would you feel good about it? They go, well, it's only 1 in 1 million maybe. I don't care. They're still human beings. I said last time, I wouldn't want to be a statistic because of that. And a lot of people are on the same damn boat and feel the same way I do. That doesn't mean that people have gotten it, they're doomed. That doesn't mean that. It just means I just wanted to do my homework. Even after getting it myself, I want to be sure. Now, I even said that at some point, if they go, okay, there's a new refined one like the 2.0, and they've done this, and there's less side effects, less chance of anything happen, I may be down with it. Until then, no. That's all. Sean Turner, thank you very much, sir, for your support. I do appreciate it. You said, love your content. I think alien civilization was clearly on the moon and Mars. For those who have alopecia, do research on the shot before getting. Unfortunately, I did not set well with me. That ain't good. Yeah, you've got to be careful. I'm just saying, all I'm saying is people do your homework. It's funny, not everybody does this, so don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted. There's a lot of people who do get the shots. Why is it that they try to push the people that don't have it? You need to get it. You're selfish. Is it selfish is it also equally selfish for somebody to get it and then have some kind of adverse condition after? Maybe they're never normal after the fact. Maybe they die from it. Is that fair? I don't care if it's only a handful of people or 2 handfuls of people. It's not the point. They're still a human being and they don't deserve to die. Period. Again, Sean, thank you very much for your support, man. That's cool. That's generous of you. So, just want to state that. By the way, let's shift gears here. When you were talking about clearly the moon and Mars, you said civilization was clearly on moon. Have you guys seen, and this is cool, the new, what the heck was it? The new movie coming out next year on February 4th, I think it is, 3rd or 4th? It's called Moonfall. Have you guys seen that? Oh, that looks good. I'm going to give you guys the link to it. And even if you wanted to jump off of this real quick, and let me see here. This is cool. This is not it, because apparently that has changed. Let me see something here. Okay, that's what it was. Let me see. This is cool. I'm not going to play it because of copyright, but I'm going to give you guys the link. If you haven't already seen this, and guess what? It's basically like a Hollow Earth, and it's alien made. So if you guys even wanted to hop off this real quick and then have a look, you need to. This thing is neat. Here it is right here. Cool movie right there. Just put it on there. That is a neat looking movie. And again, I think it's 2nd or 4th or something like that, and coming out next year in February. It literally shows they sent the probe. It says, remember in school you learned that during the Apollo missions there was 2 minutes of no communication. It said something like wrong, and what happened was we went over to like this crater, dropped the probe in there, and it went right into the moon. That was pretty cool. Really good movie. It looks like. Guys need to check that out. But there's a link to it. Just sent it up there. It's going up a little bit, but yeah, maybe I would laugh if anyone in the movie survives it. Well, it's almost like it literally skims the Earth. Really weird. But check that out. That is a good. It's got Halle Berry in it. What was his name? He's a lot older now. I'm not gonna remember his name now. But the movie itself is just cool looking. I mean, it looks really action packed. I'm just hoping it didn't show all the action parts in the preview. I hate when it does that. Josh D, what's going on? You say, hello all, I'm effing late. You're right. It's okay, you're good. Enrico, or Erico, I'm not sure which way you pronounce that. You said Al Jazeera. I like Al Jazeera. I think they're actually pretty good. World News is pretty good. I watch them, I haven't watched them lately, but I used to watch them quite a bit. And I like a lot of that stuff because when all the news that we hear here is some of it's bogus, I listen over there, it's totally different details. Like, they're telling it like it is. Now, is it possible, they, not tell it quite like it should be? Good possibility, but, it's still, a lot of the news is still a lot better. More honest news as far as I'm concerned. That one girl says they're all conspiracies until they come true. Agenda 21. Yeah, exactly. Well, and here's the thing. Remember everybody thought, oh, these tinfoil hat wearing idiots and all this other stuff. UFOs, come on. Now all of a sudden, what do we got? We got the Pentagon talking about it. People have been seeing these darn things for years. Even the ancient people have seen these things for years and talk about their gods coming down from the heavens. This is nothing new. I don't care if it's the Bible. I don't care if it's the Quran. I don't care what it is. The Mahabharata from India. I don't give a crap who it is from. It all talks about how their gods came down from the heavens down to earth, teaching them agriculture, mathematics, so on and so forth. What are they talking about? The people from heavens, even the writings from Egypt saying we built the pyramids from the help from our overseers. I mean, who are we talking about here? So even if some of the stories are bogus, it's kind of funny how all of them pretty much state the same thing. Oh, thing just jumped on me again. Ricardo, he said, I think it's hilarious how they say, beware of RT and Al Jazeera because they're a state-sponsored broadcast. Well, so is BBC, which is true. However, all the others have their funding biases too. Yeah, I mean, they're all the same way, right? Let's be honest. But it's like you just got to try to sift through and say, which one is the better out of, let's say you got a handful of them, right? Whether it be Fox and MSNBC, whatever it may be. You go, I seem to get the proper news from this channel, so I'm going to go ahead and go with them. And that's what you need to do. And then do your own research, right? You can't just go by what everybody hands you. You got to just like say, okay, I need to, I heard about this. Is this true? Will it affect me? I need to look it up. And that's what it comes down to. Tim Houston, what's going on? He said, who reckons we won't see a return to the moon in our lifetime, say the next 20, 30 years? I think they will, but it's, let's suppose for a minute they say, well, because people claim that they see things coming in and out of like craters on the moon, right? One, we don't even know if it's us. Of course, pure speculation. But if it is us, that would actually, in other words, we wouldn't be restricted to going back. Because people say, what happens if there's still people living on the moon? Would they not restrict us from going back? Because we were warned off, so to speak, not to come back to the moon. Okay? What if it's us all along and it's not other aliens and this stuff is there and it's been there for millions of years or built into the moon, if it's artificial or whatever? What if it's us all this time now, checking out this technology and everything that's left there, and it's us, and we're thinking, well, no, we see these UFOs coming and going from the moon. You know, how are they letting us go on the moon? How do we know it's not us to begin with? And this is the reason why we can continue to go back and forth. Or some people have speculated, well, maybe we got some kind of treaty with them, and we can go on there and just do our thing there while we're there, and then we can. But I don't know what race would allow us to do that. In other words, let's say it's the people who constructed the moon. Would they want you around drilling it and, trying to get, whatever off of it and everything else? Would they allow you to do that? Good question. I don't know. Gaulhism, I think that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Our TV news don't even tell us if 500,000 people in this is on the streets in other European countries. Yeah, it's the same way here. I think somebody was even saying the same thing. It's the same thing here. You go to Rodeo Drive, go in California, just go like a block or two away, and it's like tent city. I mean, it's literally homeless, and it's actually breaks your heart to see that. And I watched a documentary where the guy was like, he says, listen, I was the first one in this area. I think he said he had a car he parked there, and he was the first homeless person. And now there's like hundreds there. He says, believe it or not, there's doctors here, lawyers, all kinds of high-priced people. But the problem is, like he made an example. He said, one woman, she's down here now, her rent was like $1,200. It's now $3,000 a month. Wait a minute. So let me get this right. So things are getting tough, prices are going up, so you think that raising rent to your place is the answer. So you want it empty and not have anybody renting it. That makes no damn sense to me whatsoever. I would keep it where it's at, so you'll keep the people in your house, you're getting paid every week. It just makes more sense. But even if you just bump it up a hair bit, not $1,200, let's call it $1,300, $1,400. Maybe $100. To me, that's extreme. Even $100 a month, that's extreme. Because basically it's at $25 a week. Well, sometimes 5 weeks rather. But you get what I'm saying. The average is 4 weeks, so it's $25. People going, well, hell, that's going to cut into my gas money. Some people, it's not like everybody's got money falling out their rear ends in here, and it's just sad to see that kind of stuff. Mike Knapp, you taking off? Say good night, all. Have an exciting weekend. Keep it real. Be good. You too, Mike. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Have yourself a good weekend there, right? What's going on, Pat? He said, all right, all right, all right. Hey, Chris. Hey, friends. Happy Black Friday. How many of you guys do that Black Friday thing? I don't. How many of you guys do that? I mean, I usually just shop online, and don't get me wrong, you can get great deals. I don't know if, well, some of you guys are into radio and stuff like that. I just picked this up about a week ago. These are cool. This is basically a little shortwave radio, ATS-25. These are cool little radios. Well, I don't know if it's going to show it, but I can put it on here. And what I love about it is battery operated. It tells you your software, of course. Real cool little radio. Let me see. Of course, I don't have the antenna on it, but I ordered one of those too. It's a loop antenna for this thing. You got basically it's let's see, yeah, you got your RDS, AM, long wave, medium wave, short wave, single sideband, of course, DSP receiver, DSP, digital signal processor, and of course you got your VFO, your variable frequency oscillator. Good little radio, man. I've got one similar to that. This one right here, the Malahit, right here, pretty much the same thing. Let's see if that'll come on. But I hate it when the screen does this. Really weird. That one's got the waterfall. You can see it right here. It's actually got, when you receive it, it'll start coming down. This one here doesn't have a built-in speaker, though. That's the only thing that sucks about it. But those are really cool. So I'm actually going to sell this one here and the other one I've got. I've got one that's small. It's like a cross between that big screen and the little micro one that I had on the other one. I don't know if you guys remember the ones I showed you guys, but really, really cool. So, but they fit right in the palm of your hand. Really, really nice little radios. So I got a little project for the weekend to do, mess around with. Put that other antenna up and fought around with that. So I bought this online on Amazon. Really, really cool stuff. And I still enjoy these things a lot. But let me see. But yeah, if you're into that type of thing, you can. What I like about these radios is that when you have that crap hits the fan scenario, it doesn't mean like, you know, some people go really overboard with that because they're like, well, you know, when it does happen, you don't know if it's ever going to happen. But the cool thing about it is, because like I said, that's got FM as well. Really good receive on these things. You know, power goes out, they got a lithium battery in them. You don't have to put little stupid double A's in them or anything like that. And you can literally listen to this thing in the dark. And you know, if you got an outside shortwave antenna, which I do, I've got a long wire antenna outside, but I want a loop. So they're nice to have. FM, you want to listen to AM, you can do that too. You want to listen to shortwave, nice. And you've seen it fits right in the palm of my hand, folks, you know. Really, really cool. Let me see. Miss Here, what's going on? You said, I punched the heck out of the like button. It's broke, I think. Ooh. We can get one of those on Amazon if you want. But thank you. Yeah, anybody hasn't done it yet? Bam, slam it down. Hit that like button. Let me see. Natural Spirit said the Pleiades gave the ape man and ape woman 2 DNA strands, and then they fused the two together into one DNA strand, thus giving the ape man and ape woman a soul and consciousness. Yeah, there's many stories out there. It just makes you wonder if it's, you know, if there's any truth to these. I'm not saying, because a lot of times these stories are usually have some truth to them, right? Imagine that. Strange Martian cloud appears again over the surface of Mars. And of course, we're talking about the Arsia Mons, rather, volcano. You can see it right here, in fact. This new mysterious long and thin cloud has recently been spotted all over again above the Arsia Mons volcano on Mars. You can see the cloud floating 20 kilometers above the volcano itself as it was captured by ESA, or ESA, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I can't do that, but I can. Let's see if it even has. No, it doesn't even have that. But again, here we go again. You can see it right here in this picture right here, on this top one. You can see where it's got like this cloud, like coming off it. Now, this is the same thing that happened last time, where you can see it right there. Here's the volcano. It's always at the base, folks. That doesn't mean that it can't be from the volcano, right? Because you can see what happened to Mount St. Helens, where it actually blew up the side and not at the top. So, because just the pure and crazy energy. But the last time I did this, I've done that, talked about that cloud. It had more of an overhead view from the satellite. And when I got rid of the real brightness from the base of that cloud, it looked like a rectangular shape sitting there, and not just a bunch of cloud. So I'm going, okay, so what's causing that? And what is that rectangular piece sitting right there? All I do is just went real careful on there. It got rid of the whole cloud, and quote unquote cloud, and just this rectangular bright shape was there. What is that? Oh, okay, Natural Spirit. You said that was a Bible story of Adam and Eve. Well, it's kind of like the, trying to remember if it was the Sumerians they talked about that, and they talked about Adamu, which literally means first man. So that makes more sense. You know, again, you know, and I hate to say this because some people get, you know, really offended by it, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but the Bible is nothing but plagiarism. From the Egyptian writings, you can go to, you know, different areas around that area, and they were taking writings from different places, you know, like this Sumerian text and all this other stuff and all kinds of. It's just crazy how much stuff has been taken. Now you can take a story and put your own twist on it, but you know, at the end of the day, it's not the original story. It's actually from somebody else. Like I said before, when they talked about one of the pharaohs that was alive, he wrote his own stuff in his own book. And he said right there, he says, you know, while I was alive, I did not kill. I did not cover thy neighbor. Stuff like that. It's like, what does that sound eerily familiar? And this is written long before the Bible itself and any of the writings we've got to do with the scrolls, you know, so on and so forth. So, you know, now, is there any truth to the Bible? Absolutely. It may be more of a history book than anything, but a lot of stories were taken from other you know, like the Egyptians and so on and so forth. This thing just jumped on me. I'll just go all the way to the bottom here. Ricardo Petrozzi said that this chat is moving at warp speed tonight. Yeah, it is. I think I could have put on slow-mo. What's going on there, Mr. Taft Baker? Good to see you in there. Shermay from Wales, everyone. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Third Eye Open, how are you? Good to see you in there as well. If you guys get a chance, watch the, I was watching Luis Elizondo again. He was on the GQ, you know, GQ magazine. They had a chat with him. Let me get this thing straightened out here. Where it's funny how, like I said before, you can see that either Luis is very comfortable about the stories he tells, or he's actually telling the truth. So I'm 50-50 on the fence about that. But it's funny when they go to ask him, so, you know, what else can you tell us? And he said, well, there's a lot of other stories that are a lot more intriguing and a lot more detailed than the Tic Tac UFO, the one of the Nimitz you know, warship or the ship, so on and so forth. He said, well, can you tell us? I can't. It's not declassified yet. Or I can't tell you. Well, wait a minute. So you can spill the beans now that because the Pentagon said it. But what I find it interesting is that he says, there was one part of it, he goes, yeah, he says, so I was advising the government, you know, what to look out for, what to do. I'm going, wait a minute, so let me get this right. So you, one person, is going to advise the government that's probably known UFOs have been around for how many years? Come on, they've got to know this. As long as they were out in space, they've seen things flying around that they couldn't put their finger on it like they knew where it was from. So, you know, even the astronauts back in the 60s and early 70s during these missions, you know they've seen these, and plus on the moon they've seen them. But yet, wait a minute, Lou to the rescue. I'm their advisor guy. I'm gonna tell them what's up and what they should look for. I think they already know this, Lou. I think they already know this. They're not stupid. They're like a think tank. They're like the smartest people on the planet. They're not gonna say, oh yeah, well, let's just get this guy. He used to be in the CIA or whatever the heck he was, intelligence, and, you know, he's the one guy we can always depend on. They've known this for years. Does anybody else think that's weird? I mean, what's the deal here? Alfie Joe Bobby said, Elizondo is a CIA disinformation agent. Well, I mean, like I said, he seems like he's genuine. And when I say genuine, I mean he just seems like he's very free-flowing with the information. In other words, he's not getting stuck. Like, I think it was, hold on, I think it was, you know, like sometimes we second-guess ourselves kind of thing. But, you know, he seems like he's really free-flowing with the information. I'm going, but I don't understand. Is he just a lip piece for these guys? I don't understand. It's almost like he's like, and then when they asked him about the stories again, he goes, well, no, then, you know, I can't tell you about those right now. Those are, you know, kind of top secret or still classified. I'm going, so you know this information. You literally can give details somewhat about the Tic Tac and other UFOs that you've seen, but I can't do it on the next one. You know what that's about? You know what that's telling me? Right now I'm making money on this whole UFO thing. So what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to slowly let this out. So I get more and more information to slowly put out that I'm going to make up. I mean, what Pentagon's going to tell me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly let this out. So over the course of the next 2-3 years, I can make a bundle. That's what I heard when I heard him say this. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys think I'm off base? Or do you think, you know, it's somewhat true? Or do you think that's what's going on? Give me your thoughts on that. I wonder what you guys are thinking. Mimi, you said, Chris, the cloud could be a cloaking device to hide what's behind it. I mean, that's a possibility. Or it is really like vapors and stuff from a semi-active volcano, which if they had enough of that going on, let's say that thing decided to become really active, well, it could pretty much terraform the planet at some point. Think about it. You know, it starts by warming the planet first, and, you know, there you go. Oh, thank you, Miss Haird. I appreciate you. You said you have an awesome channel, Chris, and love to all. Well, I appreciate that, and same right back at you. You guys are just so generous. It's just awesome. Any kind of support is just awesome. You know that. Natural Spirit said, all about making money off of morons. Well, I mean, again, I believe in, you know, like people, you know, back in the day when they were talking about 2012, this fear-mongering crap. Like I said, I don't believe for a moment that, you know, he's saying he believes it may be UFOs. It's not ours. That's what he claims. It's not ours. I say BS. It could very well be us. And he says, and keep in mind, it may not be out from out there. It could be right from here on Earth. Now, we speculated about that before, right? We said it could very well be from Earth. And they could be in the deepest parts of the ocean. You know, you can come down and then go up into a cavern underground, into the crust of the Earth. And there could be a huge city under there for all we know. We don't know that. We have no idea. They could be deeper under there. Our instruments can't even read it. Mariana's Trench. Look how deep that is. And the average person can't just go down there and check it out. So they don't know what's even down there. You know, I think there's one of the deepest part. You guys remember what it was? It in China somewhere? There's one more, I think. I don't know if it's quite as deep or maybe a hair bit deeper than the Mariana's Trench. But either way, we don't know the whole thing about Earth yet. And we think we know everything there is to know about the universe. Again, science is awesome. I love science. And I believe it's making its way slowly. You know, it makes mistakes. It evolves. That's what science is all about. It's never, this is it. This is gospel. It's kind of like I do on my channel. I don't speak in absolutes. I say, wow, I can get really intrigued about saying, I believe it's this. It looks like this. But it's not etched in stone. You know what I mean? I let you guys make your own decisions as to what these things could be when we do these videos, right? But, yeah, I mean, I agree with them in that aspect. It could be from out there, outside of our Earth, or it could be right inside our Earth. We don't know. They could have been here for thousands of years. We're just coming along. You know, we're just, you know, evolving slowly and everything else. And they've been doing their thing all this time underground, coming and goes as they please. And they said, well, there's some people living on the surface now. Who knows? I don't know. But for all we know, there could be, yeah, exactly, Jamie. Villa Fuate, I think is, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He said, hi there, Moonfall is the movie? Greetings. Yeah, we were just talking about it. I gave the link earlier about Moonfall. Really good movie. And, well, it's not like I've seen it, but as far as the trailer to it, really looks good. I can't wait to see that. We definitely go to the movie theater to see that. Midwest aerial observation expert. UFOs parking on every planet in our solar system. Well, I mean, I believe at some point, maybe not now, but I believe at some point, our solar system was much warmer because we were a binary system. I said this before. One of our suns is way out and it's completely a dead dwarf now. And we still have the one, obviously, we orbit today. And if there was, in fact, one on the outside, meaning on the other end of the solar system, heating it, then our planets were all pretty much uniformly warmed up. And how do we know that there wasn't life on every body? Because, you know, like Pluto's not considered a planet anymore. And how do we know that these beings didn't just, like I said, just come to our solar system, live here for X amount of million of years, and then left and went somewhere else? Like I said before, they said back in 65 million years ago, our solar system was in a different part of the universe, which is really mind-boggling. So if you're now in another section or another area of the universe, and like I said, you got these other beings and they're like lily padding from one planet to another into our solar system, we don't know who's lived here in the past. We have no idea. We're finding it out. We're getting to know it pretty well. This is the reason why there's a big bum rush. Think about it. Maybe it's resources on Mars, the moon, whatever it may be. But regardless of the fact, there's more to it than just that. There's much more going on in our solar system, or what used to happen in the past, right? Adam, he said, when you have had experiences with UFOs, seen two of them from a distance, going up and out of our atmosphere, no noise, you said, i.e. Sonic boom, etc., you have to wonder. Yeah, exactly. But I think if they've been working with anti-gravitics back in the 40s, I believe it may very well be us. And of course, Lewis is saying, yeah, it's not the United States. How do you know that? How do you know that? If they're messing with it back then, it could be any country doing it, meaning it's still ours, meaning planet Earth's, whether it's our country or somebody else. And he's like, oh yeah, you know, because it's going from 80,000 feet and it's dropping down to like, 5 to 20 feet above the ocean in like seconds. Okay, that doesn't mean it's not a drone. Because they're saying, well, nobody can actually live in that, and with that kind of inertia and movements and everything else, there's just no way. And I would agree. But if it's got its own, like basically atmospheric kind of thing, like its own gravity inside it to keep you from like getting slammed against the wall and turn into like a person pizza, then, it could very well be done. Kind of like a Star Trek thing, warp speed, make it so. And they're just like, it just goes. You don't see people going, oh my God, you don't see any of that crap happening, right? So, so it's cool in that aspect. So let me see here. Yeah, I just watched that same part. So it's about a 20-minute lag, and that was funny what I just did. But Goat Heart, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Chris, do you believe the so-called gas giants are really made up of gas, or do they have a solid core? Maybe. I think they do. I would think they'd have to. What's holding the gas together? There's got to be something, even if it's just a simple iron core and not like a mantle and crust like we have here on Earth. It could be just a solid ball, so to speak, and everything's just enough gravity to keep all of that together. It's not wandering off anywhere, so there's got to be some kind of solid area at some point in the center, right? Even if these huge gas planets, there's got to be. And here's the thing. Who's to say, depending on how big it is, that aliens couldn't live on that too? Like I've said this before, we talked about this, where I said, to me, when I stop and think about that, I go, okay, again, I can build a dome, if I got the technology to do so, on any planet, or dig underground, and I can put my own atmospherics. Again, we've done this already. We just completed this about a month ago, where one of the tests for the Perseverance rover was to try to convert carbon into oxygen. It has, on a very small scale. Okay, what we're going to do is now make it a huge scale of it, and you can put a structure right there on Mars, and you can breathe on there with no problem inside of a habitat, right? So it's not out of the question. Maybe they can convert other gases. whatever the case is, don't think for a minute just because we haven't been able to do it. That's we. That doesn't mean other civilizations or other beings couldn't have done this. Ricardo, thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate you again. He said, I think Richard Hoagland was right. There's a race on to find the ancient libraries that contain the details of ancient civilization and tech that is scattered throughout our solar system. I agree. I totally agree with him. You know, a lot of times I think he does a little embellishment, but I believe what he does is he's trying to get this truth out. And now whether you believe everything he says, you know, I think he's a good guy. He's very headstrong with this stuff. And like I said, I've been on a show a few times, and a really good guy. So, and I do believe that you're right. Once you go to a planet, a moon, or wherever, you're going to study these things. You're going to want to know what it's made of, how long it's been there, who put it there. Is there any technical logs, so to speak, like a recording, a digital recording of what happened to them? Were they sending things back and forth from their planet to there, and they have these logs, like kind of like the Star Trek Captain's log, you know? Is it possible they have something like that? Like you're saying, like libraries of information, or it could be anything. Is it possible that's the case? Could very well be. So gather everything you need to know about these people or these beings, whether it be on our moon or Mars. So, like I said, wait till you see this next video I got coming up, guys. This is neat. And I've showed like a sneak peek of the area on the last Hangout, which I did on Wednesday. And what was really cool is that once you bring it out, there's a couple things you need to, that actually pop out of the actual manipulation and everything. That's the problem. You got to read between the manipulation, not so much the lines, right? You bring the lines out and then read between the manipulation. And sometimes you can see some weird things just popping. It could be like right in the middle of like a bunch of crap, like just distortion because of the manipulation, but yet there's something right there or something right there. And it's amazing what's there. It's not just hills or scarps or, you know, like I said, buttes or any of that sort. It's none of that. Structure, structure, structure. Simply amazing. I agree, Tony. Yeah, he said that's why Alexandria Library was burned. Heretic info, it says have to be protected from, aka doesn't match the biblical version. Exactly. It goes against the writings. Well, time to erase it. Just like they were doing in what do you call it? Mesopotamia. Same thing. Defacing the statues, doing everything else. It doesn't. That's not right. Blah 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 blah. I would rather believe the ancient writings before I believe the new writings. Well, when I say new, 2,000 years or whatever. I'd rather believe that. Scientific Search for Extraterrestrials says, yeah, Richard Hoagland is smart. Yeah, he's got quite a bit of information. No, it's carbon into oxygen, Ricardo. Yep. CO2 into oxygen, that's what I meant to say. So thank you for correcting me on that. But yeah, so they converted it, very small scale. They're able to read it. Okay, we've done it. Now you can make it a lot bigger scale. You can have this thing right on the side of a habitat, converting it for you. They say there's plenty of carbon on the planet, right? There you go. So they should have no issues trying to get carbon. Well, when I just say carbon, I'm making it, shortening it instead of saying CO2. Cloud 33 Studios said they already found all kinds of maps and literature, clues, and so on about other civilizations have a pretty good idea what is on Mars, in the pyramids, and the face. Oh yeah, absolutely. They've ransacked everything there is to do at Egypt, except they are finding tunnels underneath the under the Sphinx, under the Giza Plateau. They're finding all kinds of crazy stuff. And stuff only the privy can know on some of these areas, right? So, you know, there's a lot going on, like in Antarctica, same thing, where there's so much going on over there, they won't let the public know. But this is the reason why we started doing a lot more research. And then, of course, when Sarah and Julia came along, we decided to start really getting these pictures and analyzing those. And oh my God, we thought that the manipulation was bad on the Martian photos or the moon. They're doing it right here on Earth, and they're covering this stuff up. So why wouldn't they cover anything to do? So it makes you wonder. You go, well, it can't be just covering up maybe, like when I say ancient structure, maybe there's pyramids there. Okay, what's the big deal? I got to say is, oh, there's a pyramid over there. So there's got to be more than that to it, meaning There's got to be something technologically that they need to get their hands on, or something that they can use, and the information's out there, and they're just saying, no, we're just, these people, the public is on a need-to-know basis, and they don't need to know. It's as simple as that. In time, maybe 100 years from now, they might let you in on it. Scientific search for extraterrestrials, you said, Chris, you are right. Classical writers are better than modern thinkers like Plato. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, you know, I would rather listen to stuff like that and ancient texts like the Black Buddha, yeah, the Buddha, the Black Book of the Dead, Egyptian writings and stuff like that. Now, again, I've often contemplated this too. I'm saying to myself, you know, these people, it's not like they had street lights and cars and all kinds of stuff like that. You know, they just sat underneath the stars and said, oh, maybe everybody who dies goes up there. Ooh, maybe our gods, the ones that look over us, live up there. And maybe this is all bogus, meaning they're gods they talk about. But just about every one of them talk about their gods coming down from the heavens. So that, to me, they're interpreting what they're seeing. Again, if you've seen something flying out of the sky, coming down, and you just go, oh my God, what is that? And it lands right in front of you, these people have the gift of flight. They're my gods. And you're going to bow to them. Because you don't have the gift of flight. And if you've seen that back then, there's nothing in the sky but a bird. Yeah, you know, you can't help but to think, wow, these guys are gods. So they consider them gods, and I would too, because they had gift of flight. But they were also teachers, so. What's going on there, Mr. Robert Morgan? Good to see you there, man. Eric Gower, he said, flowing water on Mars. They constantly airbrush over it. Junk everywhere. It's a fallen civilization. Well, like I said, wait until you see the structures I found. And like I said, they're literally taking these buttes and stuff and they're just dressing them up, making them look like they're absolutely nothing. They're just, that's it. Just erosion, stuff like that on these mountains. And wow. Wow. It's just really wild. And the more I see these things, I'm going, you know, you'd love to be able to see an untouched photo. Something like in a 4K. Just the stuff laying around. The, you know, just the way the civilization was. Whether it's battered or if it's still put together. Still, you know, people often ask me, they say, you know, Chris, if somebody's ever sent you a picture, would you tell the public? Part of me would love to. And the other part of it says, well, I'm about to show you is just like so realistic and it's really true, you know, and you can actually see the original, meaning the one they're given to the public, and then the real photo, and you can literally match them together and overlay them and you say, oh, wow, I can see what they've done here. And they said, by the way, you can't say anything. That's a tough call. We'll show you several photos. You can't say a word about it to anybody. Oh, how do you keep that a secret, folks? How do you do that? That'd be tough. What would you guys do? You just shout it out, or would you like, you know, if they're giving you privileged information? I don't know. Hello there, Samantha Morris. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you in there. Terry Kelling, what's going on? Good to see you. I don't know why your message was retracted, but it says retracted. Huh. Rodney Evans, I'm a quote Chris one day. You hoots? Read between the manipulation. Yeah, pretty much you got to read between the manipulation, not so much the lines. Because we're doing our best to bring the lines out, right? So once you do that, you see all these cool shapes and everything else, and then it's just like, it's distorted by the overlay. And that's what you're going to see in this next video. So what you try to do is you go, okay, it looks like a big mess of garbage, meaning just whatever. And then there's things that are there that look so natural. What I mean by natural is things that you would expect to see here, like in ancient times, you know, ancient civilization. It looks very similar to something like that, and a cross between that and modern day structures. So you see these, wow, what is going on here? so it's really mind-blowing what they're really going out of the way to hide. And they mess with you as far as distance-wise. You think this stuff's way off in the distance. It's not. It's literally, you can walk over to these things like within 10 minutes you're there. And they want to make it look like it's miles, and it's not. Just judging by the rover that's sitting there, the structures that are there, you're going, not that far at all. Like I did the last video, where it looked like that machine was half buried in the ground. That thing looked like it had a vent in the back, and it looked like a rear end to like some kind of flying machine or something. I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's the way it looked like to me. It looked like it had like a side, like a barrel or some kind of engine type thing on the side. The other side's buried, so you couldn't see what's on that. And then not to mention a bunch of junk laying all over the place. That's not natural, folks. And it's on Mars. Well, they're not telling the truth. Yeah, Tony, you're right about that. Said, wish Sarah could see the new stuff coming out of Antarctica. She exposed so much, but literally the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, there's so much there. Oh, my God. But I was thankful that the amount of time she was here, what she was able to bring out, and she said, I don't want anybody else to do this but you. Like I said, I told her right out, before her passing, as long as I'm still alive, and even if I'm not, as long as it's still YouTube remains on here, it'll still be out there for anybody to see. So her work basically lives on. If we don't, any of us here, the video will probably outlive us as long as it stays intact, meaning YouTube and everything else. Good to go. It'll stay there forever. Steve Garnham, what's going on? Good to see you there. There's Julia. Just talking about her now. How are you there, Julia? Good to see you in there. I don't know if you've seen the Wednesday Hangout. You might want to check that out. I don't know if you've seen it or not. But basically did the like a small dedication to a good friend, Sarah. And I decided to do it on that day, on the 24th, as opposed to today. And of course, I was testing a microphone as well. You'll see it says testing, then it says anniversary of Sarah, or Sarah anniversary, I forget how I put it, and of course, chat. And so, yeah, if you get a chance, check it out if you haven't. Figured it'd be more fitting. Robert Morgan, you said you are not allowed to browse the Vatican library. That's a fact. And it's a big library from what I understand, too. Pour me one bourbon, one scotch. It's supposed to be one beer, wasn't it? Said I ain't seen my baby since I don't know when. Good old Georgie. Yeah, that's what I was just telling him, Julie. He said you were the only one Sarah trusted. And I was thankful for that. I really was. Still am. And like you said, Julie and I have talked, and she said, basically, what she just echoed again, saying that, she's the only one that trusts, that I trust. Well, she trusts me. And the thing is, it's like, that's awesome. It makes you feel good. And like I said, even if I was, like, if all of us are gone tomorrow, meaning over a course of time, we all pass on and everything else, then at least the work will still live on. As long as, like I said, YouTube stays out there, then it'll live on forever, So that's what's awesome. If it stays up there, generation after generation will see this. And then maybe it sparks more people to go out and do their own research and check this out more and more. So it doesn't stop here. That's what I love about it. That's why it was imperative to try to get her thesis out, because I think it was imperative. And this is, like I said, I've got the two of them. One prior to her passing, and then the other one after, because that was a full thesis thanks to Julia, because she helped her finish this, which is fantastic. And I think it was, like I said, I think there's an hour difference between, because more information was brought up and brought to light, and there was so much more going on. And I think it needed to be put together as well. And it took quite a bit of time. 3 hours and 18 minutes long. And like I said, it's cool because it's like a scrolling book. You just kind of like just sitting there and get some classical music. If you don't like that, put your own on. Just watch it. Just goes. And of course, you can speed it up if you're a fast reader. And there you go. So, or you can slow it down. Oh, okay, you did see it. Okay. All right. Cool. I didn't know if you were going to be like, is he going to do it tonight? Meaning you didn't see the last one? I just thought it was just more important to do it then, that's all. I said, it's on the anniversary. Yeah, let's do this. Mimi, Chris showed us his cat. Yeah, she was over there scratching at the door. Like, I was like, what are you doing? Let her in there and let everybody see the cat. I'll let you guys see the other one too pretty soon. Actually, we got 2 more. We got one that was in the back of our job that there was a bunch of cats, but there was like probably 12, 13 cats. And one of them, it was a male cat. He's more laid back, and he used to get picked on like religiously by this one other cat. I used to call him Alpha because he was like the alpha male there. But without fail, man, he'd tear this cat up. And I'm like, nah, we're not going to have that. So we're sitting there, and the cat's looking up at us one day when he liked everybody, you know. And one of the other guys goes, why don't you call him Biscuit? I said, why would you call him Biscuit? He goes, because he's got like a face like a biscuit. He had like the big jowls. And I didn't know this, but I guess, you know, before, as they're in, that's like the mating prime, they get like a fatter jowls in their face. So, you know, but then it passes and everything else, and of course it goes back down. But he's a good-sized male cat, but he used to, without fail, get him something torn up every time he walked over there. So I said, yeah, we need to take him home. Yeah, we do. We got him. We have him too. So I got another older cat. She's actually blind, but can see. The other one's the opposite almost, because she's almost deaf and she can see. And then the other one, of course, he's not more than a couple of years old, 2.5 years old, somewhere in there. In a sense, yes, I do. Peter Petrelli, what's going on? He said, hey, Chris, so I have a question. Have you seen Prometheus, and do you think there's a correlation to have humans have been seeded on Earth as well as other life forms? I think so. It's either purposely seeded, and our DNA was fooled, like a lot of ancient, you know, scripts say, or it was through panspermia, which panspermia theory was, you know, Mars got hit by, you know, rocks and everything else, and of course the ejector came off of the planet and made it here, which we do have rocks from Mars. I think a lot of them were found in Antarctic or in that region, and whatever life was there is now mirrored here, okay? So that could be, and that's why some scientists, even though some people think they're rogue, is that they believe we're Martians, and they don't mean little gray men, they mean that we're from that planet. So, but what if it's even further than that? What happens if it wasn't a rock from way out there and it hit Earth and went out from somewhere else? So if this kind of thing happens all the time, if we go by the theory of panspermia, is it possible that it wasn't just us that was seeded? How many other planets are done the same way? Over a course of millions of years. So that tells me that there's probably life everywhere you got to look, man. It's either, and then once they went spacefaring, they made other civilizations everywhere else. And of course, this is upon millions of years ago, before we came along, meaning civilized man, and they're just so far ahead of us, folks. It's just crazy. Just to think of that, you're just going, wow, yeah, I wonder what that'd be like. Oops. Hating this when this thing does this. Josh D said, I do hope us people here had a good Thanksgiving. I did. I'm sure a lot of other people did too. Like I said, I'm probably going to have to swim the English Channel just to burn it off. But yeah, other than that, I'm great. Yeah, put on a couple more LBs. That's all right, though. It's all good. I can burn it off in one day. No problem. Linear Project X says there's defo past civilizations underwater in Antarctica. Oh, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Where did the other one just go? This thing just jumped on me? Where did it go? Well, that's the second Genesis. You're talking to Ricardo. Well, that's not good if that variant's that bad. I don't know why it held it for, what do you call it? Cameron, you taking off? He said, have a good stream. As always, Chris, please stay safe out there and have a good weekend, Chris. Well, you do the same, Cameron. Good to see you there, man. I'm glad to, you always stop in. That's awesome. Jonathan Waddell, what's going on? I don't know if I said hi to you. I think you just crept in there not so long ago, but what's going on? Good to have you in there. Spooner FPV said, sorry, missed all this. A hell of a storm here in the UK. Devastation stuff. Stuff flying everywhere. Worst storm I've seen in 30 years. Wow, that's not good, is it? This is kind of really wild photo. NASA's Curiosity rover sends a picture postcard from Mars. This is pretty cool because what they did is they did a half and half thing where you got like the sun coming up and then it's up in the sky, or it's just barely coming up and then it's up in the sky. They split it right here where the antenna is. The omnidirectional antenna right here looks like a can. That's an antenna. What was funny about it, if you do this, goes into black and white, and then you see the sun over here. Then you look over here on the left, that's where it's coming up, or it's setting, one of the two. But it's 2 times a couple, you can see right here, NASA's Curiosity rover uses its black and white, white navigation camera to capture panoramas of the scene at 2. So what you see is, it says, capture panoramas of this scene, blue, orange, and green color was added to a combination of panoramas for artistic interpretation of the scene. So yeah, but believe it or not, this is the area we're actually going to do too. We've actually just looked at. In fact, I showed you from a different angle this very place here. Let me go ahead and just zoom into this. I don't know if, it's not going to do it. Okay, but what I can do is do this. We'll use the magnifier. Right here in the background is the same so-called rocks and stuff that we looked at right here. Those are not rocks. They're not, they're not buttes and scarps and all this other stuff. These are actual structures, and you'll see that in the next video, guys. Really, really cool. Galsism, hism. What's going on? Thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. Threads of faith equals DNA. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, like I said, they said that we were altered at one point, and this is the reason why we are who we are today, because they're saying, well, you know, the question is why hasn't primates, because it's supposed to be of the tree, why aren't we, like a lot of the primates, also equally accelerated in brain growth, and, you know, why aren't they doing things? But they have said that even now they're starting to make tools to actually break open food, which I thought was ironic, because this went back at least, what, 2 or 3 years ago, several years ago they said this, where they are literally making tools now, and they're trying to break open like coconuts and weird things and trying to, so they can eat food. I'm going, huh, imagine that. But they're still way behind the times. What accelerated us, and that's why a lot of these doctors, well, not regular doctors because they don't really give a damn, but as far as like these people who are into this kind of stuff, they're saying, yeah, we grew like exponentially as far as brain mass and, you know, and the way we are today compared to supposedly our, well, we're going to use the term natural family tree, right? And so that's why they're puzzled about that, but really weird. Tony Gibbs, you said blue skies and clouds require more atmosphere than they are claiming. Exactly. You get cirrus clouds on there, which is basically a change in the weather. You get, you know, the sun, and like you said, it's kind of weird how you see this. You got kind of like a, kind of reddish, but then wait a minute, you got a bluish over here. But they always mess with you. They go, well, see that one over there, if it's either rising or setting, oh, it's always, you know, like on Earth, it's usually, it's almost like a red sunshine, right? And then, of course, up in the sky, it should be more of a yellowish and not so much orangey, and yet it's blue. I'm confused. But they did add the colors, so they did say that. But like I said, these things here, what we're seeing, structures. Absolutely structures. I like this too. It says China launches new Gaofen 11 high-resolution spy satellite to match U.S. capabilities. Now, I had a comment saying this, oh, you know, he says, and they were serious, you know, they weren't, and I'm not making fun. They said that they're really concerned because China is literally, a lot of people believe that they're going to be ahead of the United States. But what I found ironic and kind of weird too at the same time, they said, well, what it is they literally, because how China is, you know how like they steal a lot of people's ideas, and then of course they make it their own, or they make a knockoff of it, whatever it may be, right? And they were saying, you know, they stole a lot of our, you know, our secrets, this, that, and the other, whether it's through, you know, espionage, whatever it may be. I'm going, okay, let me get this right. So you believe that they're going to beat us, but they stole our technology. That means we have the technology to protect ourselves, don't we? Right? So I don't think that's the case. There's a lot more going on with the United States than you can realize. Yeah, we won't have an issue. Now, the only thing people are worried about is their missile they sent around the world. But that doesn't mean we don't have the same thing. Metalhead, what's going on? Good to see you there, man. What is happening? Am I missing something there? What was that? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Metalhead. I really am, man. My condolences to you. Say, just buried my dad, not feeling great. Came here to feel better. I appreciate you being here, and my condolences go to you. It's tough, I know. Ricardo Petrazzi says, equally lit. I'm sure you appreciate memes wash out the image. Yeah. Yep. You can see where they did that too, right? Glenn Marsh, what's happening? He said, I had, sorry for you. Oh, okay, you're talking about Metalhead, okay. Lester Gillis, what's happening? He said, Bill Clinton sold a great deal of it to them. Well, the thing is, let's say for argument's sake, they hacked into our military somehow, or whatever the case is. Okay, but if we had it already, and they stole it and copied it, that doesn't mean we lost our technology. It means we still have it. So they're just trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. And it's like, we're always improving our weapons anyway. But this is what has always puzzled me. At what point do you run out of ideas? You can improve on what you have, right? But to come out with something different. I mean, you can come out with a portable EMP, super-powered EMP. You can come out with all kinds of stuff. But then you go, okay, we're limited as to what we can do. We built all we can do. So my thing is, it's like, how much can you build so you can say we're protecting ourselves? Because, I mean, everybody wants to have the same amount of weapon in case they're being threatened from another, state or country, whatever it may be, right? So you go, okay, but how much do you need? It's like going, well, I have a gun in my house. Oh, really? That's cool. Yeah, and a bazooka, AR, I got this. Oh, Jesus, how much more do you need? I mean, are you trying to blow up the whole city block, or are you just trying to, like, fend off an intruder? I mean, how much do you need before it's too much? It's overkill. Excuse the pun, right? Alien 10, he said, if the crap hits the fan, I think our governments will hit the EMP bomb. Not the best solution, but maybe the safest. Yeah, because it won't do anything other than just cripple anything electronic, right? It won't blow up buildings. Well, it depends. Like it has some kind of adverse, kind of weird thing goes on with the electronics and blows up something else. Let's see. There you go, John. Yeah. The next thing you know, we'll be eating food from China. Well, I mean, for the last time I checked, they own like 6%, almost 8% or 10% of the United States already. I mean, as silly as it sounds, they're buying golf courses and everything else. So why don't you just like buy them back and just tell them, take a hike? Let's see. Let me see. Yeah, probably just as much, Pat. He said, I wonder if EMPs would short out older cars without computers. Without computers, you'd probably get lucky, but you do have a spark module. I don't know if it'll affect those. Of course, you got the small pickup in the old. Remember, like if you took apart the distributors, you had the pickup inside there, and Halifax switch. You've got, and of course, you've got. And regular coils and any kind of modules you may have. Like a lot of the old Fords had the modules and everything else. Anything like that, if it could be shorted, then the car is not going to run. It's as simple as that. Now, if you have anything without that, then you're golden. You shouldn't have any issues. Unless, of course, it's so strong it would basically mess with the spark of the engine. I don't know how it would do that, but it's hard to tell. But here's my only problem with it. Let's say, for argument's sake, crap hits the fan, EMP, everything just stops. It's at a standstill. And these guys are driving out with these cars like, yeah. Said, I knew that would never affect me. But how long do you think it'll last before people don't jump them for the car? Oh, holy hell would break loose. John Shavy said, not in my Oldsmobile. I don't know. It's a great question there, Terry Kelling. You said, Chris, what's the deal with the pyramid they found on Earth and the Moon? Mars and Pluto, are we to assume that the same race of aliens colonized the solar system? Well, here's the funny part. If you look at the civilizations here on Earth alone, just about every one of them had some form of pyramid, right? The Egyptians, the Mayans, they had their own structure, but they were basically pyramidal, so on and so forth. I mean, there's a lot of them that had pyramids. In China, they got pyramids. Off the coast of China, they got pyramids under the water. I mean, it's like, that's weird. So is it possible that, it's the same kind of thing going on Mars and all these other bodies in our solar system? I don't know. It could very well be. Or some kind of symbolism that everybody shared throughout the solar system. But then how do they know that? Just like how do they know, like people on the other side of the world compared to Egypt, how do they know that? Of course, they could have had like trade routes and everything else. And of course, this is the reason why they knew. The word got around. But still, we're talking about thousands of years ago where would they have done the same? Would they have copied them? Or at least they would have came pretty close, right? It's possible. Lee Herring, what's going on? He said, one day everyone might realize we are all human and they will stop trying to kill our brothers and sisters. Insane hate in this world. That's a fact. I mean, and like I said, I don't know what it is, but it seems like every time it gets closer to the holidays, people lose their frickin' minds. And I understand. People are like, listen, I'm in a hurry. I need to get this done. It's like, that's why you should do this long before that. So this way you're not having these issues, right? Last minute things I get. Makes sense. But my God. Oh, okay. Pat, you said you got the HEI, the high energy distributor, which is good. I don't think it would mess with any of that, but it's hard to tell, right? I don't know. Never had it done, so we don't know, right? Yeah, that would probably help, Eric. You said a generator instead of an alternator will run. Yeah? Oh, this thing just jumped on me here. Mimi, you said, I'm concerned what will happen when China and the U.S. start mining the moon. It won't be peace for long. I mean, unless, of course, they have this kind of like treaty where they say, okay, that's your part, this is my part, neither one of us to go into either side. There has to be something, because you can't just go, well, I'm going to take whatever the heck I want in this and you're not going to do anything about it. There has to be some kind of give where, okay, that's sectioned off for you, that's sectioned off for you, blah, 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 and any other country that wants to get in on it, right? Dean Brazil, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a while there, Dean, unless you've been sneaking in there. I think they're already mining on the moon. I think you're right. I think this has been going on for a long time, too. And I don't mean people from here on Earth. Peter Petrelli, you said, your question was, Chris, do you think industrialization is occurring on the moon and Mars and perhaps further beyond? I think it has. And the only reason why I'm saying that is I'm judging it by what I've seen in these photos. You have to have some kind of industrialization, some kind of manufacturing in order to build, whether it's stone structures, metal structures, you know that, right? I don't care if you're building I-beams, whatever you're doing, you need some kind of industrialization to be able to do that. And even there was found through Sarah's work that she found that they found metals in the sand in Antarctica going back to like X amount of years ago, where there was industrialization, just the metals that they found in the sand and did the and checked out, whatever metals were in there. They found that there's industrialization there. This goes back years, and I'm talking about years ago, right? I think it was like 95, 98,000 years ago. So if that's that, if you go to that far back, wow. So, and like I said, what I've seen on Mars, yeah, they definitely had a civilization there, and they were pretty technologically advanced. I'm not saying look like the George Jetsons kind of thing, but they hide everything on the skyline. So how do we know how tall these things are? We don't even know what the heck is there besides what we find. John Schaub, you said, I met my wife in a pyramid while she was being filmed. Oh, no kidding. That's cool. Rodney Evans, you said, so we believe that the country thousands of years ago, where most things were invented, which has the same number of engineers as we have population and technologically behind us? Are you talking, Rodney, are you talking about between us and China? Is that what you're saying? If I'm reading that correctly? So we believe that the country thousands of years old. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how specific that is. Doug Parker, he said, one of my first cars had 3 on the tree. Those were funky, weren't they? That was pretty cool. A buddy of mine had one of those years ago. That was funky trying to drive that. Tony Gibbs, you said, I wonder how the so-called treaty from space will hold up when they figure out how to mine asteroids, etc. AKA China's satellite middle test. Could be trouble brewing. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. The only thing I could think of is that they're literally, like I said, they've got to have an agreement. Whether they say, okay, any body that's out there, foreign body, if you obviously see it first and you claim it, it's yours, so on and so forth. That's the only thing I can think of, because you can't say, well, we both see it at the same time, we'll split it. I mean, how hard would that be to do? So if they claim one, okay, there you go. Okay, we're going to send the craft there, it's ours, blah, 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 blah. It's funny how they can claim stake on these things, but you know what I'm saying, right? That would be the only way that could be done. Oh, yeah, Lester Gillis, absolutely. So the newer cars with electronic controls are most at risk while they are running. Absolutely. Eric Gowan, 1972, Monte Carlo here. My brother had 2 of those. Had 71 and he had a 70 and a 72. But of course, he had it set up. He was when he was in the Air Force at Myrtle Beach. He had a Monte Carlo there. He had one that was like a burnt orange, with a mild 350 in it, nothing big. And then the other one he got a 454 out of a Vega race car. Of course, he had to take the cam out. It was like, I think it was a 3/4 cam or something like that in it. And he had to make it a little bit more roadworthy, So, but he still had his pretty radical 3-inch pipes and all that stuff done to it. Nothing on the bottle. It was just a good car. And he used to race it on the strip down there in Myrtle Beach. Really fun. Used to love doing that. I lived down there for about a couple of years. Used to go down the track with him. Eric Gower, yeah. Space is like the Wild West. No rules. Well, that'd have to be at some point, right? Peter Petrelli said Neil Armstrong, when he returned, became a recluse, which is a fact. It's alleged that the moments prior to when they were landing, they were told to deviate because of the rocky landing area, but in reality, UFOs were present. Well, at least that's what they claim, right? They said that, these things are huge. They're looking down at us. They're on the crater wall and all this other stuff. And that's what's really bizarre. And I don't see that as they're lying. At one point, I don't know if it was that same mission, but they were saying, they were looking down and said, look at those lights in those craters. He said, I bet they don't get out much. It must be very lonely down there. Who the hell are they talking about? So they must have been talking about something alive in that crater. A lot of times some of them claim that there was like these very square structures inside these. But there's other things there as well, right? What look like cranes and all kinds of other weird stuff. Yeah. Eric Gowery said my Monte Carlo is an automatic, but I've got the big one. Well, his was the same way. I think he had the 411 gears in the rear end, if I'm not mistaken. He was doing about 500 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels. So it was pretty powerful back then, right? Yep. Matt, yep, 454 big block. It could, Leslie. He said an old-style generator could get fried as well if it is running at the same time as an attack. Well, yeah, because, I mean, if you think about it, there's any internals. I mean, don't get me wrong, the roar of the actual generator, the less chance of any components in it to burn up, right? Because basically are windings and magnets and stuff like that. So it's not too bad. But when you start going to alternators and stuff like that, where they have modules built into them, some of them do, and yeah, then it, see ya. Oh, big block heaven, John. There's nothing, you know, it's funny because when the first time I heard my brother's car, I was like, I stood maybe, I'm going to guess 20 feet behind the car. He says, no, stand behind this particular exhaust. So you start it and you have, you can literally feel the air come out of the thing. I was, oh my God. So yeah, it was pretty stout. Let me see. Tony Gibbs, you said all three of them did some strange stuff after they returned. Armstrong was exploring caves in South America, something he never was into prior. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like they had to do something to keep themselves busy, right? Just really crazy. There's another interesting, I'm sure you guys have heard this. Pentagon to study UFO sightings in restricted UFO airspace. Now, again, I'm going back to Luis Elizondo, whatever the frick his name is, Elizondo. What I find, like I said before, I found it kind of amusing is that, you know, the government is now looking to him for information on what to look out for and what they should do. Really? Come on. Again, back then, Star Wars project in the 80s, it never died. This has been rolling on for a long time. This is the best way. Think about this a minute. Knowing that you got Virgin Galactic and all these other companies that are coming out saying, hey, by the way, for a couple $100,000, we could take you up in space. It's about 6 to 10 minute round trip up and then back down. You know you're going to see something up there. So now, if you happen to see something, which they probably would do everything they can for you not to see it, but if you did, they go, oh yeah, we just built that. That's a new Space Force, by the way. Then you'd be like, oh, okay. But you know they're not going to allow you to see that stuff, but still. I think it's hilarious how they actually have people doing that. Well, they're like depending on him all of a sudden, like he's the go-to guy. Are you serious? The government's like, oh, well, according to Lewis, it was back in the 40s that they've noticed these UFOs. Okay, but now they're going to bring you into it to advise them. What? Anybody else think that's just weird? I mean, come on. James, thank you very much for your support, sir, as always. He said, hi, Chris, and all. I see the big guns are all here, man. Oh, yeah. Everybody's here tonight. Just chilling and illin'. Miss Here, you taking off? Well, you be careful. Thanks for joining us as always, and thank you for your support. We'll just have a good weekend there, right? Carmine, you said, I don't trust Lou. I think he is still active as a CIA disinfo agent. You might very well be right. Again, he just seems real flowing with the information, so I trust him to a certain degree. But then I'm going, just some of the things have holes in them. And I'm just like, so they knew about this in the 40s, but again, you're the go-to guy. Help us here, Lou. Tell us what we need to do. Come on. Again, they had the UFOs flying around the White House back in what, the 50s? There's about 15 of them flying around the White House. Again, why do they need them? You know as well as I do that they built radars and everything else to find these things in our atmosphere. You know they've done this a long time ago. And you know they're well aware of who's around us, and they probably even know, they probably interacted with them already. Now, of course, that's pure speculation, but if I seen something flying around in my airspace, by God, I want to know what it is. How do we go about doing that? Well, let's get the think tank together. Hey guys, what do you think? We get some flying, whatever the hell's out in the sky here. Let's build something that can detect them. Big radar dish or something that we can, it can sense like certain propulsions or heat signatures or whatever. Why don't we build something we can tell the difference between our own aircraft and something else. Maybe this thing emits a magnetic field or whatever it may be. Okay, we can do that. Come on. You know these guys are well ahead of this stuff. And he's, like I said, oh, now it's all of a sudden it's all new and everything. Whatever. Terry Kelling, thank you very much for your support, sir. You guys are all generous. I appreciate that. You guys are the bizarre. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, I'm still here. You taking off, Josh? All right, man. Appreciate you being here. Have yourself a good one. Yeah, I think he is too, Robert. You said Lou is still employed by the, I think he meant the CIA. I think he put the DIA. But he's actually two of them I thought he was affiliated with. But $10cc, I said, I can't believe him at all. Taking off, Julia said, bye everyone, big love. Right back at you, Julia. Like I said, thanks for being here and good to see you there, right? Yeah, we're going to be showing that pretty soon too, Julia. Because that's one of the ones I want to get out. But you'll have she's got the pick for you, John. And but we're going to be doing that pretty soon too, because that's coming up. I've been trying to get these other ones out of the way, so. Man, 12 midnight already there, huh, John? I'm tired. It's 12 midnight now. Damn. Yeah, John, I'm not a big fan of him, David Icke. Because David Icke has a strange outlook. He has a strange brain, period. You know, everything's a lizard to him. I don't know whether that's true. I'm not saying it's out of the question, especially if you have things that are living internally in a planet. Maybe it's something it's just, I don't know. It could very well be. But it's the way he talks about it. It's like as natural as you and I on the planet. It's just like, I don't know. It just seems a little far-fetched to me. I'm not saying it's out of the question because I don't believe anything's out of the question, especially when it's the unknown, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, you're right, Morgan. Robert Morgan. He said, Chris, he has a partner of the Defense Intelligence. Yeah, you're right. That's why I said DIA. You're right. He's part of more than one. Like I said, he just seems very knowledgeable, but then he's like, oh, this when he showed about the Tic Tac UFO, and like I said, it's on GQ. You can put on YouTube GQ and then put, Luis Elizondo, and it was funny because he's like, yeah, basically just like, yeah. He says, so what about these other videos you're talking about? And the host says to him, or asks him, and he says, there's much more intriguing and more telling. With much more detail and all this other crap, saying they're better photos than the Tic Tac and the other one that they had. And he says, oh, what can you tell us about? I can't tell you anything about that. But you can spill the beans about these, but I just can't tell you about that one, though. I can't. Like I said, it seems like he just, like either he's making the stuff up as he goes or he has the information, he's just letting it out very slowly, so make some bank. That's basically what it comes down to. So to me, it just seems like it's ultimately wrong. And I don't think that's cool because I'd rather have somebody just tell it like it is. Yeah, there's a lot of other photos out there, and that's because whatever. And say, yeah, there's one that's about one, let's say, flying over a particular building. And that one should be coming out soon. And you go, oh, okay, cool. No, I can't tell you. It's not declassified yet. But yet you know them of yourself. I don't know. So the government knows about these, but they're looking for you for information. Again, that seems a little daft to me. You know, yeah, we know all about it. We're going to let the information out. But you know what, Lou? We need you to tell us what we need to do about this situation. What? And he's the only go-to guy now. Keep in mind. Yeah, I agree with you, Ricardo. You said, I've had a lot of experience with David Icke. He's an odd character to be sure, but the lizard thing has to be understood from a particular context. Yeah, I get it. I mean, I've listened to him a couple times, but I don't know. You got to admit, it is hard to swallow. Like I said, but I don't say anything's out of the question because I don't even think we even know our own galactic neighborhood. So God only knows what's around us or underground, you know? Underground us. Yeah, that. Well, that's what it was funny, Eric, you said that because you said the Tic Tac is nothing more than a high-tech military drone. And he said, well, yeah, well, it's not a drone or anything. How do we not know? I even said that. If there's nobody manning this thing, because they believe that the maneuvers are just literally kill a man instantly, or a woman, then it's got to be a drone. Have you seen how fast these real drones can fly? And I'm talking about the ones that have got propellers and stuff like that. I mean, I've seen people, woof, I mean, them things are screaming by you like at 150 miles an hour. And that's a toy. When I say toy, I mean relatively to a high-tech Tic Tac. And yet those things blast through the sky. What do you think something like that can do? And if they have anti-gravitics and they can control that, oh my God, it's like instantaneous. Boop, 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 just move around. It's flipping around. They said it was like making ripples in the water and the thing was like spinning and just jumping around. Oh my God, it's like a Mexican jumping bead. Terry Kelling, thank you very much. You're too generous, man. I do appreciate you. Thank you. That is awesome. John Shaw, where did it go? He said there's a Royal Air Force flight lying low level, and a few years ago I saw a van-sized cube on that route, but it went silently into a cloud and never exited. Huh. That's wild. Yeah, there's things on there just unexplained, and of course some things you can. I remember saying to someone, oh my God, there's a UFO right there. I said, what are you talking about? Right there. I said, oh, I mean that plane? And they argued with me. I said, dude, you can see the strobe light on it. That's a regular airliner. Oh, no, it's not. All right, whatever, it's a UFO. Whatever. Eric, you said we put the Tic Tac out to put doubt in China's mind. They think they have the fastest things out there. And that could very well be. I think, to be truthful with you, I think it's ours. And of course, Lou's going to say, it's not ours. We determined it's not ours. Oh, okay, okay. It's just, in other words, get everybody off the beaten path so they're not wondering what it is or they can't tell what it is or whatever the case is. And I think it's bogus. I truly do. Again, just more BS to the public. It's all it is. He's just doing lip service. It's just a bunch of crap. John Shea, what's going on? He said, back from the pub. Nice to be here. Evil, what's going on, John? Yeah, I like him too, Pat. And you know, you guys were just talking about David as well. I like the guy. I'm just finding it a little hard to swallow on some of the things he talks about. Now, I do entertain, like I said, maybe the speculation that these things do exist. Because it wouldn't surprise me. You know, they could be someone like us. You know, maybe they walk on their back feet or their legs, and they just look more like a lizard type thing as opposed to like what we do. Maybe we're the abnormal looking things, and they're more the normal. Especially if they've been here more than Especially if they live in our planet, where they've evolved to what they are today, and maybe we're the offshoot kind of thing. We're the actual strange things on the planet, and they're the actual normal inhabitants. Who knows? Oops. Robert Nielsen, what's going on? He said, evening, Chris. Is wormhole tech still an issue in research? Would bring out the anti-gravity devices. Guess someone already has the tech. Yeah, I mean, well, of course they're going to try. If they got anti-gravitics, you know how like they say, like, well, some of these space shows are talking about how they can open up a wormhole. Now, I don't know if they can actually do that yet, but anti-gravitics, I mean, if you think about that, I wonder how that would work. Let's say you got it perfected, okay? You can get people in it. You don't have to really maneuver that fast, but just enough to take off. Could you go into a black hole and back out? Or a wormhole? Could you do that? That would be pretty interesting. Because you're not being swayed by any gravity that's in there. Could you actually travel that? I say yes. Pat, Pelosi's a reptilian. Oh, you're too kind. I'd say something much worse than that, but I'm going to be nice. Trying not to get into political crap here. Terry Kelling, he said, Chris, I just love your channel. I appreciate it, Terry. I really do. That's awesome. I don't believe the 10cc, he said, I don't believe the reptilian alien theory at all until I witnessed it myself. It scared and excited me at the same time. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen anything like this, so I couldn't tell you. So I can't speak from experience. But who knows? I mean, you go into some of these, you know, like I said, underground dwellings, and these things could have been there for years. Whole different civilization, folks. Robert, Chris, sounds like the Doctor Who episode with the Silurians. Are you talking about the original one or the newer Doctor Who? I like the originals. As weird as those were, remember that? The derelicts and all that? What's going on there, Mr. Diamond Dog? He said, Ike uses a lot of metaphors and his speech is interesting. Eric Gower, he said, Tic Tac equals definitely Skunk Works, which I strongly believe they got a big hand in it. Carmine, you said, I think the Tic Tac uses the Earth's ionosphere to, whoop, just jumped on me here, to push itself. Since this is in part of the electromagnetic form of propulsion, it would be very fast. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Oh. Lester Gillis, you said, yes, I agree with you about David Icke. He does have possibly valid points about the Illuminati. However, I don't buy in, what? I don't buy into space? Alien lizard people? That goes into something that can't be proved. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to make these stories up and not have any proof. That's why I don't go along with that theory so much. Like when they say about UFOs, they go, well, these things were in the skies. Well, that's true. I mean, people are seeing them all over the place now. And the more people get cameras, the more people are looking at the skies. So they actually see them. These can be proven. Now, proving exactly who's who now is a whole different ballgame. In other words, is it right here, right in the United States? Is it another country doing it? Is it from outer space? Is it right here from on Earth, under us? These are all questions got to be answered, right? So I agree with Lou as far as that part goes. Then we need to find out who it is. But as far as a threat, nah. Like I said, they would have done something a long flipping time ago. Pat Owen, I love the song by 10cc, The Things You Do for Love. Or I'm not in love. I think that's them, right? Originally? I could be wrong. Oh, okay. Robbie said original. I don't watch the new woke one. Yeah, I'm not really enthused about that. I mean, don't get me wrong, they have more special effects, but it's like, I like the original. Every now and then I get on there and watch the originals. Pretty cool. Whitebeard Sky Daddy, what's going on? Good to have you in there, man. He said, I've seen anti-gravitic capability within 30 feet, and that was in the mid-'80s. Oh, yeah, that I don't doubt. That I do not doubt. Like I said, we've been messing with this stuff for years, man. So at some point, you know they must have this, this perfected. Let's say the Tic Tac is nothing more than a drone, like we said. And, of course, Lou says it's not. Okay, but let's say it is. This just goes to show you, if they can build a small scale of this, you know they can build a much larger one. And it doesn't mean you have to go ripping around corners or going from elevation of 80,000 feet down to 2 feet above the surface of the water. You know, you could take your sweet time, go wherever you need to, and whew, out in space, you just gain speed slowly, like hitting an accelerator in your car. And next thing you know, nobody's getting thrown up against the wall. Nobody's becoming a pan pizza against the wall. I mean, it's so, you can literally do this. Again, if they can build a small one, all they got to do is pilot it. It's not very difficult. So, J-Bo, what's going on? You say, hello, Chris and group. What is happening? Sean Joseph 1, you said the nearest black hole is 1,500 light years away, Chris. That's what I heard. It's somewhere around there, wasn't it? Pretty cool. Robert Nielsen, you said, I do believe in other races and species. Hopefully Homo sapiens can evolve. What about the secondary eyelid so we don't get crap in our eyes? Would be cool and practical. We need to believe in evolution. Yeah, we need to evolve and just recognize everybody as a human being and stop being so ridiculously stupid. I've been watching these things that I don't know why if they're just coming up in the suggested search or whatever, but there's stuff going on. Like there was one that said, what does it say? Something about the state of Connecticut, meaning the state that it's in. And then there was a couple other states where it's showing people just running in stores, stealing stuff, shopping carts full of stuff, bringing it out, throwing it in the car and leaving. What is going on? Because they're not allowed to say anything to these people. I went, really? So let me get this right. So I'm literally watching somebody put all this stuff in their shopping cart and run out the door? Oh, no. I'd be ripping it out of their cart as they're trying to get out the door. I'm not touching them. They can't prosecute. It's like, hey, listen, they're taking stuff. I'm not letting them take it out. Sorry. It's like, you can leave, but you're not going anywhere with the shopping cart. What? I mean, just wow. And somebody said on there one time, one of the comments, they said, if you think that brazen now, wait until they start going into your homes. Think about it. There's how many people in a store and nobody stops them. That's ridiculous. In the 80s, now you got beat up if you try to steal in a store, or you got immediately arrested, one of the two. Or they beat you up and then had you arrested. Now it's like, oh, don't touch him. What? Mimi taking off? Yeah, I'm taking off. Good night, everyone. Sleep well and stay safe. All right, Mimi, thanks for being here. Thanks for your support and your comments. Always appreciate it. Have yourself a great weekend there, right? She says, until next Friday. All righty, we'll see you then. Yeah, that's true, John. I mean, well, unless, of course, you're like us and you're just like, I'm just kind of curious. You just start looking up at the sky, right? So that would be pretty cool, right? Steve Gardner said, Chris, why have humans evolved so much, but not other creatures who have been on this planet millions of years longer than us? Well, that's what I was talking about earlier. We're supposed to be like part of primates kind of thing. And yet now, just now recently, I was just saying this earlier, where it's like they're saying like some of these primates are literally building or making tools to break open like foods and stuff like that, which I thought was wild. I went, but why didn't they evolve with us when we evolved if we're part of the same family, so to speak? That's why they're like puzzled and perplexed, because they're trying to say, okay, how the heck did we like our brains get much bigger, we're so much smarter, we evolved so much more, and like I said, in the brain itself. That's what they're trying to figure out. They said we took like a quantum leap into what we are today. So pretty cool. Ten TC said, attending physician just a few feet away from my face. Then he blinked his eyes. Oh, I noticed. All right. He knew that I noticed. Yeah, that must have been creepy. That must have been wild. Yeah, I agree with you, Diamond Dog. You said, we need to grow up. Looters are the lowest form of life. I mean, and they're literally, here's the funny part. You can hear the actual people that work there. They're literally out there recording these people. He said, yeah, these lowlifes won't even get a job. And one of them goes, hey, why don't you stop me? Oh, we can't do that. What? So you're allowing these people to get away with this. It's not going to get any better, folks. It's just going to get worse. I mean, if everybody starts doing this, your prices are going up at the supermarket. Everybody's prices are going to go up more and more and more. It's not like they're not already going up, right? They're going to go up more and more. You're going to pay more at the stores. And what happens if they go, yeah, I'm just going to start stealing gas too, I'm at it. You know, like some of these places you can actually gas and then go pay for it. Of course, a lot of the gas stations now are like, yeah, you got to pay first before you can do that. But they might just get brazen and go blow your brains out. You know, just go ahead and put that on for me, and then just blow your brains out, and then just take all the gas they need. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just getting really crazy. And why they implemented that rule, like, you know, you can't stop these people. Why? They're afraid somebody might get hurt. Okay. If you're in the store and somebody pulls a gun, don't shoot. Here you go. Here's the drawer. I didn't see a thing. Have a great day. It's not your money. Now, if a guy pulls a knife and I've got a club or a baseball bat, I'm going to beat the crap out of you with it. And I'm going to cripple you with it. I've had that done to me before. But when you see people walking out of the store, I mean, can't these people carry mace? Oh, you know, I'm talking about the workers now. Something on them so that they can say, listen, you can't leave with that stuff. Oh, I got a knife. Okay. And then have them arrested. Stop this stuff, man. This is getting out of hand now. It's getting really crazy. James Craig, thank you again for your support. I do appreciate you. You said, Chris, your vids and live stream and Hangouts so far this week alone are without a doubt fantastic. The undeniable evidence was clearly visible, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. I do appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, some of the things that we're seeing in these photos are even bizarre to me. I mean, like that last one I just did, to me, that's no doubt in my mind, some kind of weird machine laying buried, well, somewhat buried, not all the way buried, in the sand. And you can see this weird stuff that they try to cover up on them hills and everything. They're not hills. These were absolutely a civilization that was there. They're machine parts, totally decimated areas on Mars, and they're there for that very reason. Why are they in these certain parts and not anywhere else on Mars? Because there's a reason. There was places, and you can bet there'll be new spacecraft coming out. And by the way, there's a new rover coming out, and they're going to, with the next, you know, they'll be in a different area because they're going to already had scoped that out with the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. They're going to have already scoped it out. Okay, we already got new missions to go to those areas. Come on. Like a lot of people say, why don't they go to like the Cydonia region? Maybe they have. Secret mission nobody knew anything about. Or because the MRO has the high-rise camera in it, again, you can see down to a 4-foot swath on the ground. This is a fact. What unprecedented was their words, unprecedented detail. Keep in mind, 4-foot swath. So you know anything that's on the ground there, they can see it with crystal clear precision. So even if they haven't gone there, they're just looking at different things, shots, taking all these photos and seeing probably spectacular things on the surface of Mars. And this is the reason why we're here today. Well, we've been there since the 70s and attempted even earlier than that. So, you know, between the landers, the first rovers, up to the rovers we got now, and then, of course, the helicopter. So, yeah. Again, James, thank you. Too kind. Lester Gillis, she said, hypothetically, those lizard people could be demons as they have the ability to modify their appearance. See, I'm not sure about that. To me, it's like, you know, shape-shifting. I think that's one of the things he said, right, David? David Icke said. And I don't believe in that shifting of the face and changing. I don't believe that. Now, I do believe, and I'm open to the idea, that perhaps there was, you know, maybe they just look that way, and that's the way they always look. They don't just change, you know. Like 1 minute they look like you and I, and all of a sudden they change into some kind of lizard. That I don't believe in. I'm willing to entertain the idea of they're just maybe distorted compared to us, and they have more of a lizard-like look. I'm okay with that, you know. But when they start going, there's, you know, changelings and all kinds of weird stuff like that, I don't know. Pat Owen says flash mob looting. Unfortunately. I remember years ago, my mom had a store, and, you know, there was a kid that was in there who was trying to steal. And I was in high school at the time. And even back then, you know, if you go to like a truck stop, they have like a small baseball bat. They call it a tire thumper. I had one of those, and I said, put the thing back, I'm going to break your legs. And the kid was like, well, I didn't take nothing. put it back or else. Okay, man, whatever, and then walked out. Don't do that crap. Like you said, it's like the lowest form of jerk faces, you know? There's no reason for that. But they know they can get away with it, and nobody's going to say a word about it. So we got the green light. No, I don't think that's right. People's hard-earned money is being taken. And then again, what does it do? They always say crap rolls downhill. So who's going to absorb this stuff that's being stolen? The prices are going to go up for you and I. So, yeah, people should start doing something about it. I'm not saying be like be your own policeman, but you should start, just like, hey, this guy's stealing stuff. You may want to do something about it. Oh, we can't. Yeah, something needs to give. This world's getting really out of control. Ricardo, you said it is unfortunate that the majority of news reports about shootings are negative. News of people who legally own and use firearms to prevent crime gets disseminated. Exactly, that widely. Yeah, I mean, that's why, and they wonder why a lot of people are buying guns, right? For that simple reason. Like I said, if they're brazen to go into a store and take whatever the hell they want, don't come to my house. Better be right with God before you do that. You will not see the light of day. And that's the problem with it. It's just like people go, well, I can't do nothing. My boss says I can't. And that's the problem. Eric, shoot looters. Well, I mean, you give me the option, or at least say, okay, I'm noticing this guy stealing. Immediately call the cops while the person's still in there. And, it was funny because the person, they had two shopping carts full of this stuff. They were throwing it in their vehicles. I'm talking about like detergents, the big bottles, and throwing everything in the car, just throwing it in there. And when they were leaving, then one of the guys at work, they took one of those shopping carts and slammed it in the front of their van. I'm just going, I don't get it. Take the stuff out of there while they're trying to do it. What are they going to do to you? Go out there with more than one ears, have pepper spray. Stop, when you stand up to these kind of creeps like that, what happens is they go, don't hit that store. No, these guys, don't do that. These guys have already retaliated against people, and they'll start learning a lesson. How's it, Crafts? What's going on? Good to see you in there. You just jump in there. Yeah, Third Eye Open, I kind of the same way I'm thinking. You said, yeah, changelings and shapeshifters, more likely to manipulation of the viewer's mind to make it appear that they change shape. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with the idea that these things may look a lot different from you and I, where they have more of maybe like a lizard face, or maybe because of their eyes, lower light, and because maybe they live underground, or they live on a dark planet, wherever they come from. I'm okay with that. And I'm even... I'm willing to entertain that idea, but changing shifts, changing your face around everything, I don't know. Ian, what's going on? Good to see you in there, man. Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard that too, Nicholas Snyder. Yeah, you said David Icke is saying they somehow manipulate our consciousness so we don't see their true form. That's what I got from it. Well, even then, what's the point? And let's suppose for a moment that, if unless they're living among us, which I think he did say some of them are living among us, but if they're not, and you walk into their underground, wherever it may be, and you see them, why would they go, oh, let me see if I can't just change this guy's mind and they'll think I'm human? At what point? You're in their territory. They have the right to tear you apart. If you know what I mean? I don't know. Some things you agree with, and you go, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And some things you go, not so much. Pat says, thank God I'm in Texas. Yeah, there's a lot of people on here that just would not do that. No, they'd be like, you go into my house, yeah, you've had a bad day. And there's a place where my wife works. She works in retail as well. She said, yeah, there's people that come in, they're already beeping. Okay? So these people know, when you're going through those little sensors, when you walk out, you beep, beep, beep. Oh, I got to check my baggage. Well, what's funny about it is they'll walk in with it beeping. So they go, well, if they see me beeping while I'm walking in, then when I walk out, it won't be no big deal. So they can just take stuff and put in there over their jackets and stuff or their purses and walk out. They're slick. I'd be like, listen, what do you got on you that's making you beep? I don't know. Well, you need to tell me right now because I'm going to automatically assume you're stealing. Ricardo said, if you haven't seen the channel, do visit Zeduction. You'll love it. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of it. I have to check that out. I'm sorry. Is the education. I'm sorry. Okay. She said, I did just jump in, Chris. I hope you are well. I am. Thank you. And I hope you're doing well as well. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I'm going to call you Kish because it's a little shorter. He said some business buy insurances for their businesses to pay them back for the damages. Yeah, but I mean, it's just, but when does it stop though? That's my whole point. It just gets worse and worse and worse. And I can't see the logic in that. It's crazy because then it's just going to get more and more out of hand. How much can they, here's the thing. Now they're going to start to absorb more, cost because their insurance is going to go up. And then again, of course, it's going to roll down to you and I, where it's going to cost more for our foods, our goods, or whatever else we're buying. So when does it stop? It's not right. It really isn't. Pat Owen, you said there's no consequences or accountability connected to crime nowadays, especially in the blue states. Well, I mean, it's anywhere you go, right? I don't get into the political thing. But to me, it's just like, no matter where you go, it's just like, put a stop to this. Because people would do that. They're like, no, you're not taking from me, Like Guns N' Roses said, you can have anything you want, but you better not take it from me. Jungle, welcome to the jungle. Yep, exactly, Pat. Dollar General has a policy not to confront or detain. A lot of stores are like that now, even where my wife works. I went, so it's okay to just take stuff and walk out the door. So what's the point of having these sensors at the outdoor when you're going out and it goes beep, 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 beep? Hey, you just go, okay, we just confirmed that they stole. Okay, nothing we can do about it. What is the point? Eric, you said it stops when you pull the trigger, period. Mm-hmm. Robert Nielsen, you said, Chris, heard a rumor that they pulled the funds for SETI program. True? Or so a bad a decision. Bad call. I don't think that they did, but even if that was true, because I didn't read anything about it, so I can't say yay or nay to be truthful with you. But if they did, it's a bunch of BS, because they're not going to stop doing that. SETI has been around for years, and although Arecibo went bad, they could still get kind of like radio time or listening time through other, satellite dishes, right? All they need is the right equipment to receive all these other frequencies, and they can just sit there and monitor like they always did. As long as you got a dish, you can sit down and do it, right? Of course, you won't have the same dish. Arecibo was pretty big until China made theirs. Then this is much bigger, which I'm almost positive you can get time on that thing too. So, basically they can rent the thing out, or they just have like a company working it all day, and then they have people come in at night and they can rent it or whatever and listen in. But either way, they're not going to stop. Even if they said tomorrow or today, or they already have, yeah, we just stopped funding. They're not going to do that. They know there's too much at stake, and I can almost stake my life on it. They've already heard civilizations out there, either transmissions from radio or TV or some kind of radio spectrum or, frequency spectrum. They heard something from other planets, guarantee it. Because we're not the only one that has either TV, radio, or anything else. You know that. California. Yeah, I hate when that happens. Celtic Hammer says, just legalize all guns and ammo and the knife crimes will end overnight. Well, here's the thing. What is it? Is it Louisiana? That's actually, it's like trying to remember if it's like the law. Everybody should carry a firearm. And you know what? There's a lot less crime there. Because at any given time, you do something stupid, you can get your head blown off. So crime's down. Where it's just the opposite, where they believe, oh no, it's the guns that are doing all the crimes. Well, sure, people are using it for the bad. I could take my phone right here, hit somebody right in the temple and kill them with it. Does that mean that should be outlawed? Or is it the person that needs to be outlawed? Shoot them first and be done with it. Shoot first and ask questions later. Now, I don't believe in violence like that, but at some point, if these people could confront you with that kind of violence, you need to protect yourself, right? Drugster Billy, what's happening? Good to see you in there. So hiya, Chris and company. Just popped in for a quick hello and sending good vibrations to you and all. I appreciate that, Drugster Billy. Hope you're doing well. I hope you have a good weekend too. Well, it's already down to 28 here. Said I think it was going down to 21 here tonight. Yeesh. Robert, you said, but the visuals from the Great Disk in South America were frightening. I guess it's frightening. Yeah. Everything where rubble's falling apart. Everything where rubble, okay, rubble falling apart. Did SETI move? Well, they'd have to from the Arecibo. Now, they said something about, I think they have more than one listening area, but it was the main one was Arecibo. And of course, it collapsed and everything else. Cables broke and it collapsed. And there was talk about rebuilding it. Then it was like, they're kind of up in the air whether they'll fix it or not. I don't know. But they can get listening time anywhere on any radio telescope, right? Pat, you said, I wonder if people on Mars had the same social issues we have here on Earth today. God, I hope not. But then again, if they did destroy themselves, then probably the answer was yes. James McClure, you said, I live in Baton Rouge, and you are correct. I'm not sure about what part, but okay. Richard, you said the United States of America was the last bastion of real freedom and is sadly being eroded from within. And God, yeah. Oh, it's everything. You're losing, your rights. Civil rights are out the frickin' window. Like I said about the suppression of information, whether it's being for vaxes or what they're finding out in space, it's all being suppressed. It's like, like people have said many times before, just like keep feeding crap to mushrooms and that's it. Just let them sit in the dark and that's the end of it. And that's not right. I want to know what I believe in or that's around me is the truth. Or I'm just ever wanting to get this information. I want to suck this information in. This is the reason why I like listening around the world. Because you can hear stuff, people actually talking, even if it's not your radio or your local TV station. If you think, they're just a bunch of people who are suppressing information from the public, you can get the public's opinion by listening to them talk, right? And from around the world, you can get different what's going on, what's with their country, and they're saying this is what's really going on, and the news is not telling the truth. That's where you get some information. Now, I'm not saying it's like gospel and you should listen to everything it says, but it gives you a different perspective from different countries, right? Celtic Hammy said, why are our 4 and 5G phone signals worse than what NASA had 52 years ago when they phoned the astronauts on the moon? I don't know if it's going by, I think it's by the same principle, but do you guys remember the old CBs where they actually had it look like a telephone? You literally actually key it on the actual headpiece where you just, the actual receiver. You can actually click, yeah, what's up, dude? And then, of course, unkey it, and it was like a CB. Well, the same thing happened with them. I believe they were going through 2-meter communications, and this is the reason why a lot of the ham operators would listen to them. And of course, they went silent for the 2 minutes or whatever it was, X amount of time. So they were using VHF, I should say, what do you call it, the 2-meter band. They were using the 2-meter band, and it's basically that same kind of communication. So what the president would do is call through there. It was then patched through like a radio, and of course it was transmitted. But the frequency, the higher the frequency or lower, depending on which one it is, it can actually mess with you. It can actually hurt you. Like if you go to 144 through 148 megahertz, that's 2 meter band. If you go to the 151, 900, and right around that area, you're talking about business band. Just those frequencies alone, I could put like a little rubber ducky, a little antenna on the back of that radio, key it up, I could feel the radiation on my face. Do that to a CB radio, put the antenna in front of your face, you don't feel it. Same wattage. So it's got a lot to do with that, you know what I mean? And the 4 and 5G is just more dangerous than the 2 meter band frequencies and the radiation that comes out of there. There you go, Ricardo. Break, I'm looking for the bandit. Yeehaw! Robert says, I had one of those, Chris. Radio Shack. Yep, way back in the day. Yep, goes way back. Ricardo, he said, yeah, you are spot on with the widening your perspective on watching foreign news channels. Well, even if you just listen to normal people like you and I, whether it's ham radio operators or radio stations around the world, you can just hear, I just love that. I just love the fact you can listen around the world and just tune into it. And what I love about that little radio, like I said, I just got right here, doesn't take up much room, does everything you want it to do, and if I can find it again, I used to have a Morse code keyer, meaning a keyboard that would put it into Morse code for and an actual decipher. It was made by Microcraft, I believe it was, and kind of looked like a Heathkit kind of setup. It was kind of designed that way, but you can literally just type, you want to put how many words per minute, you know, the brown fox jumped a big fence and all of a sudden it'd go, and send it, go, put it all in Morse code for you. And then of course I had a receiver that it would do the same thing. But you can't now, they're like the little cheesy little things, you can't find anything good anymore, which kind of sucks. Because I love it, I used to enjoy listening to that too. Let me see. John Shea said, maybe you originally came from Mars. Well, some people say that. We actually came from Mars through whether we traveled here ourselves or through panspermia, where basically whatever's on Mars now would be here. Like I said, if there's a catastrophic event, like a rock, a body from out in space hit Mars and sent an ejector up and made it here to Earth, which they, again, they said, I said this earlier, where they found actual Martian rocks here in Antarctica. So you don't know if there was microbial life on there, and of course it started life here, seeded life here. Or there was a pending doom there on Mars and they came here. Who knows? I don't know. It's all pure speculation, but there's a lot of people backing the idea of the panspermia theory, right? Arthur Krauss, I'm scared of the dark. Ah, don't be scared, it's all good. Robert Nielsen said frequency. I know that modern tech brought about that word, but telekinesis, older than Egypt. Well, that's what I hear. John Shea said, I actually remember the like button. There you go. Anybody else didn't hit it? Hammer that thing. Bam! Hammer time. Just don't break it. I think Miss Hare did that earlier. She said she broke hers. So go easy. Michael Norris, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris. Are there any more UAP videos coming around? There's some online that are pretty interesting. A couple of you guys had sent me some, and I already had put those on there. If anybody's got any more, I know of a friend that had them, send them over. We'll check them out. Definitely. Ooh, the thing just jumped again. I hate when that happens. I haven't heard a thing about it, Kish. I'll call you Kish. Anything interesting coming out of China's rover? Never hear anything about it. Like I said, what they do is they try to, it's all like hoopla and everything. Oh yeah, look at us, we're on the moon. And all of a sudden, quiet. It's like completely dead. They don't say anything. This way, you totally forget about them. You're like, oh yeah, wow, that's interesting. You look at the photos and then it's like you hear about it. Like I said, it's like, oh wow, it's just cool. And all of a sudden, fades away. And that's what they're hoping. Ricardo said the real danger of radio frequencies is to do with the high frequency pulsating that falls into the harmonic resonance of well, distance of 2.4 gigs, water molecule. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you know, there's a lot of things, like a lot of the phones. This is the reason why, like, they had the 2.4 gigahertz phones. I went to the 6 gig. And, of course, you got your microwaves, which I think of 2.4 as well. You got to be careful. You know what I mean? I know people are sitting there, like, right in front of the microwave and going, don't be doing that crap. What's wrong with you? I don't care how well a microwave's insulated. You just, you know. I know people that said, oh, yeah, I've gotten headaches from that. I said, were you sitting in it? And they're like, no, I'm just, like, sitting right by it. I'm going, yeah, you should get away from that thing. That's why they say, you know, like years ago, they say anybody who's pregnant and you're running something in the microwave, get the hell away from it. Just to be on the safe side, too. Oh, actually, they do, Eric. China has, they have one up on the moon, they have a lander as well as a rover, and they have one on Mars, too. Rovers. Oh, they are absolutely up there. Daniel Webster said, I think those videos are liked because they came from the government. Many average people have much better videos. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that someday people just get some really good photos or videos of these UFOs. I mean, it's not like well, I shouldn't say that. It's not like, you know, if you look at the average iPhone or whatever, they got really spectacular cameras on them if you're so many feet away. But after that, you know, you're trying to zoom into something way out there, just pixelates, turn to trash. So I think a lot more people need to have like a telephoto lens and stuff like that. That's what they need, and to be able to sit there and take good pictures of these things. I'm thinking about getting a, what do you call it, P1000, guys. What do you think? Start looking at the moon. I used to do it with my other telescope, but P1000 would be sweet right around now. Anybody got one for sale? Let's see. Nicholas Snyder said, Lewis said, we've come to find ourselves at the top of the food chain, but we're going to find out we're still somewhere in the middle. To me, that's implying that it's more than one other intelligence. Oh, yeah. I would say the same thing. You know, because you know there's not just going to be one other civilization, right? There's going to be many. I mean, I don't think we can contemplate or even understand just how many other, you know, civilizations are out there. Just look at the amount of, you know, stars out there and the planets that orbit them. They're just, oh my God, countless. Countless. Oh, what is that? This thing just jumped here. Let me see. What does it say? Yeah, Carmine, they might be doing that because of the winter time. Because it is getting colder like it is here on Earth. In fact, I think the last time I checked, it was down to, I think it went up to like 9 degrees Fahrenheit, but it was still like 104 below zero at night. So it is dropping. It's not uncommon to see 30 to 40 degrees and a whole lot higher than that during the middle of the summer in the equatorial regions. So it's doing the same thing here. It's actually dropping. Well, it's dropping there on Mars as well. It changes just like, it has seasons just like we have here on Earth. So, yeah. Yeah, I have to do a crowdfunding thing, Rob. He said, Chris, try eBay. Those are not exactly the cheapest things around. I think they're right around 1,000, aren't they? Like $900, $1,000. I mean, it's not super expensive, but I mean, still, it's quite a bit. Exmulation, you said, do you think Elon Musk and company will be truthful about the what's on Mars if they go in a couple of years, or will they be the part of the non-disclosure crew? Yeah, I don't think they'll say a word, to be truthful with you. The only way they're going to say it is, like I said, slow disclosure. Like I said, and I've already said this already, I've already like kind of predicted it, where they're going to go, okay, at first I said there's water on Mars, and they kept saying, no, there isn't, there's nothing but carbon ice. And I said, no, that's BS. And then they come out with it. One of the engineers on there, for the guy that makes the drill and everything, says, yeah, we actually found out there's a water cycle on Mars. So there is actually H2O on the actual polar caps, as well as carbon, just like we have here on Earth. And I said, what's going to happen is we're going to find some kind of like organic something or other. They just found organic molecules. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to find like a little Martian moss. Oh, look what we found. It's in between this little crack, and we found there is life. Or they're going to find, microbial life first, and then they're going to find, oh, we just found this little like indigenous plant type thing. We haven't seen it anywhere on Earth or similar to Earth, and it's just going to get better and better, and it's just going to grow from there. But you're not talking about in 2 years, right? So unless, of course, there's something major happens where they literally accelerate this disclosure, like people just get angry and just start saying, listen, Congress, you need to tell these people to start divulging the real information. But who knows? It's the DOD that pulls the strings for them, so God only knows when it'll be disclosed. But it's accelerating faster and faster. It's just like you and I wish it was just like, can it be today? That'd be great. Recluse Lord 666, word up, Chris. What's going on, Recluse? Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, Pat. You said, I don't believe anything the government says. If they say one thing, I believe the opposite. Yeah, we need to unite. Lots of crafts, absolutely. Jack Snow, you said they spout global warming when it's actually getting colder. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, we're on the uptick of the new cycle. I'm trying to remember if we're in the 4th or 5th year of the new solar cycle, and it's an 11-year cycle. So once we hit the 11th year, we're at full solar. Every planet in the solar system will heat up. It's not just a global warming thing. It's an actual, it's actually being accelerated. And you can tell that from the poles themselves, whether it be Greenland, Antarctica, things like that. It's accelerating, but it's not as bad as they're trying to make it sound. But it has a natural warming through the sun itself, the sun cycle, and that heats up the whole solar system. It means every planet heats up. It's not just Earth or Mars. So, yeah. Carmine, you said, since methane is present in large amounts in Titan, isn't that evidence of organic compounds and potential life? Well, you need carbon as well, CO2. Okay, yeah. Which they even found methane on Mars. So we have that. We have a water cycle. It's actually warmer than they claim it is. Well, it gets warmer. Yeah, I mean, it's like the little parts. You throw them all together, you go, come on. Found organic molecules. There's methane coming. And it's like every season. It's like right in the warmest season, that's when they get this burst, these large bursts of methane. Yeah. Richard Froud, you said, hi, Chris. I have sent you an email of enhancement of Pluto screen snatch. Have a look. I will, man. I definitely will. Dan, you said they can't seem to get over that little hump to say we found microbes and lichen, and they tell the whole time. I know. I don't know what it is. I mean, even if it's just simple plant growth, why not just admit that? Oh, wait a minute. Because we kept saying that life hasn't existed on Mars, meaning it's basically a dead planet now for millions upon millions of years. So now they're going, what do we do now? I mean, they can always come up with a story and say, yeah, I mean, Mars is starting to change, and in some spots you can find like organics there. That would be pretty interesting. And people would be like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Nobody'd freak out about it. Let it out of the bag slowly. Let it go. It'll be fine. But no. Celtic Hammer, you said, Chris, do you think the Egyptians invented electricity using the pyramids' mirrored solar energy to drill or cut the granite stones? I don't think they used it for that. They said that there was proof that they probably had giant saws that were actually run by the manpower they had. And some of them were done by water, I think, like a hydroelectric saw kind of thing. But, you know, because they tried to use that kind of mirror thing. Remember they said that? They said, well, I think they were copper mirrors, and they had them at the mouth of the opening. Of course, it reflected, but it only went so far until it dimmed out. So they believe they actually had, like the Baghdad battery, right? And I'm sure you guys have heard of that. And you can put like fruits and stuff like that and get certain acids out of it, and you can make a light bulb out of it if you wanted to. And they actually come out with, I think it was like 4 or 5 volts, might have even been higher. But somewhere around 4 or 5 volts they were getting out of it. So they think they were using it as gold plating and stuff like that. And what they're puzzled about is they're like, okay, we figured they'd probably use like torches in these chambers and these hallways and stuff, but there's nothing there where they put the torch and you can see like a burn or like black area, like a sooty kind of thing around there. Nowhere is there anything like that. So they assumed they had some kind of electricity. But I'm going, but what if they carried the torch and never did put up against the wall? Then you're never going to see that. So I don't know. But the fact that they had a Baghdad battery and that they could produce electricity, they did that today. Well, not today, but you know, recently in the last 10 years, where they found 10, 20 years where they found this, and they've actually put like a grape juice or something in it. You can put lemon juice or whatever, and because of the acidic, the acid that's in it, you can actually, you know, make electricity with it. So that was pretty cool, which I find pretty interesting. Oh. Move that over again. I just kicked this thing by accident. Oops, my bee. Jackson, you said, and CO2 is plant food. It doesn't make things warmer. However, if you get the carbon that settles on ice, and it's like a sooty kind of thing, and it's dark, what does dark do? It absorbs sunlight. So you accelerate the melting. So I agree with you, but there's also other ways that they're saying it causes warming. So that's what they mean by that, because of the pollution that's always in. Because you got to remember this, it's not one country doing this. There's all kinds of countries letting out this, you know, all kinds of basically factory pollutants and everything else, cars, and all that. Gets in the atmosphere, it settles down, comes down, and if it goes on the poles and it goes onto the ice, then it accelerates the melting. That's what they mean by that. But it also goes through its natural warming as well. It's not just something we're doing, right? But we're not helping things either. Joe Matthews, he said, hey guys, what's going on, Joe? What is happening? Terry Kelly, he said, Chris, do you own a telescope or a binocular? No, actually, I sold the one I had because as a friend of mine said, hey, you know, he was in the market for one. He's like, yeah, my son really wants to get one bad. I said, what do you mean? He said, yeah. He says, and I had forgotten his son's gotten a lot bigger. And I said, well, I've got one because I haven't been using it. I said, if you're interested, oh, okay. Gave him a good price on it. He jumped right on it. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to get a P1000. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty neat. Daniel Webster said methane lasts only 300 years on Mars. I believe it's methane spikes. If it was volcanoes, ever be traces of methane everywhere, although it would disappear in 300 years. Yeah, but I mean, this happens seasonally. So there's always this burst of it, and they're not talking about like a little puff of it. It's huge. So they're either thinking it's some kind of microbial, they're thinking it's something, you know, something along the organic, and they found organic molecules. So again, stop putting the two and two together. It doesn't equal always life, right? But it's not shying away from the idea either. So. Well, they do have that too, Eric. He said, sounds like permafrost defrosting on Mars. It does. It's actually under the soil. They did that when they first had the Viking lander literally take a scoop, and it showed like permafrost under it. It was just inches under the surface. And of course, within no time, the sun was on it, just melted away. Arts and Crafts, are you talking about the one they found? You said there was a bath of liquid mercury in there. Were you talking about in the Egyptian pyramid? There's another place too that they found that, but there's like a pool of it there. Yep, Pyramid of Giza. Yep. Oops. He jumped on me again. Noise Magician, what's going on? He said, hi all, hi Chris, it's been a long time. Oh yeah, where you been, man? Been a while. Sky Blue, what's happening? Anton Petrov says climate change is due to the ocean, particularly the ocean floor. Last ice age is 100,000 years ago. How much to do with the migration of early man? Yeah. Anyway, pollutants do not help our atmosphere nor our planet, period, right? And like I said, but a lot of people think, you know, when they say global warming, they, you know, all of these politicians, they want to say, oh, it's because of us. Da, da, da. No. I'm not saying we're not helping it, because we're not helping it at all, but we're not the main cause. Like I said, the sun does its own job doing that. Warming and cooling, it gets hotter every 11 years and gets cooler, it starts to cool down. It's a gradual uptick and then it goes back down. And this happens every single 11 years, every cycle. So they make it sound like it's like, oh, it's all us, it's our cars. It doesn't help it, but we're not the main cause. Okay, I'll stop. Curiosity killed the cat. The only reason why, this is the only thing I like the idea of. Now, not everybody's on board with this, but if, like, I believe the UK is a lot more ahead of the United States when it comes to electric vehicles and stuff like that. You can find thousands of charging right there at these light posts and everything you can plug right in and all that stuff. The only reason why I think it's a good idea, to a certain degree, is that we can tell the OPEC countries to stick it. Now, obviously you got to say, well, but what's going to charge these electric cars? Well, that's true. If you're using a hydroelectric plant, well, you don't have to worry about it. If it's a state run by solar and wind power, again, really don't have to worry about it. But 99% of the countries and states are not like that at all. So it has to come from somewhere, right? But the amount of power that these plants put out, you know, what like my car consumes is like so minimal. It's like a flea on a buffalo's rear end. It's so tiny, it's not enough. However, start getting thousands upon thousands upon thousands of these things. Will the infrastructure be able to handle it? That's a whole different ball game. Because even like my car, it's on high if I charge like 1,440 watts until it's charged. Now get a whole bunch of other people doing the same thing, plus your house running, so on and so forth. Oh, wait a minute, it's the dead of winter, and if your house is fully electric, there's more load on the grid. So it's got its upside and it's got its downside, right? Renee V says, for those who haven't done it yet, thumbs up, respect. Thumbs up, hit it. It is appreciated. Truthfully, I don't know, Metalhead. He said, can you connect a Nikon P1000 with a full zoom to a telescope? I would imagine there's attachments, like a lot of other cameras do have. You just have to get the connections and, you know, for the lens and so on and so forth. But I think you can. Oh, cool. Nice magician. You said, Chris, I've been busy with projects here and there, going back to school again. Awesome. What were you going to school for? Was it anything really cool or what? Obviously, it's something you like, right? Alfie Joe Bob says, cool pics. P1000, very heavy camera, needs 30. Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, that's not a toy. Yeah, Carmine, I agree with you. So hydrogen engines are a great option. Much better than electric, and the exhaust is water vapor, which goes right back into the atmosphere, right? I can see people now taking a piss in the gas tank. It's like, okay, we're good. We can go another 100 miles. Yep, but with full zoom, oh yeah. Oops. Let's see. KSG Sunshine, he said, hi, Chris, if we could send your own, or if you could, well, yeah, if we could send our own privately funded rover with just one mission, high-def images, would you send it to the moon or Mars? I would go for the moon. Oh, yeah, I would, only because it's the closest one, less chance of any faults going wrong with it, a lot closer, so on and so forth. Oh, yeah, definitely do the moon. Then we'll just go for the, what do you call it, too? We'll definitely go to Mars after, right? Ricardo said Rex Bear has a P1000 and has demonstrated on it. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people who do have it. It's got things that got a hell of a zoom to them. Really, really cool. Even the 900s were good. Yeah, I don't see why not, Diamond Dog. You said UK government is thinking about putting charging points in the new house builds. See, what I would do is if I had the money to do it, I would automatically just, you know, put it solar powered, you know, on my house, and then just get it off the, what do you call it? Get it off the grid itself, or off the grid, I should say. Solar panel with battery, just charge it, and then good, let it charge it over again the next day. This way here, you're not on the grid doing that and being part of the problem, right? Oh, that's pretty cool. You said I was a fraud analysis for a long time, but it was not my passion. I'm going to be a graphic designer. That's pretty sweet. There's a lot of opportunities once you can branch off to that. That's sweet. Good luck with that, man. How have you been doing? I've been doing pretty good. Just chilling, doing my thing. It's awesome. Jackson, he said water-powered cars existed, but they got shut down by oil company. Yeah, I mean, back in the 50s, like I said, I had said this story before where there was a guy that actually, his car ran out of water. You'd put water in the tank, and then you put like these 3 little pills, or 2 or 3 pills in it, and the car would run. Of course, he disappeared, and so did his plans, and so did the car. Imagine that. Yeah, it's all about big business, folks. When you cut into somebody's business, it's kind of like if somebody was trying to take your job that you're in your job, and let's say your position is probably one of the highest positions in there. Well, you're making the money, and you know exactly what you need to make a living, pay the bills, roof over the head, clothes for you and your family, so on and so on. If somebody tries to move in on you, what do? Oh, you need to step back, so they're not going to allow that to happen. It's all about big business, and they don't want you interfering with that. Ricardo, he said, Rex Bear demonstrated the zoom. Yes, at 16 miles. Oh, yeah. That's insane. That is cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right about that, John. You can use a combination, too. You can get the residential wind generators as well as solar, right? Solar's good, but not everywhere gets enough light. Well, here's the thing. If you have enough solar panels, even on a cloudy day, you're still producing electricity. So as long as you can charge up the banks, your batteries basically, what you do is you just use a lot less, they charge a lot faster. Some people just use the grid during the day, and then of course they just shut it all off, and then they just go right to battery at night. So you can literally let it charge until then, you can just use the batteries all night long, whatever you're using, right? John Che, you said Tesla had the answers to power everything around the world from the planet itself. Yeah, I mean, he was talking about running it. Well, first he was thinking about transmitting it, and I think he did like a small experiment to do that. And then, of course, you'd have different towers all around it would actually transmit this everywhere, including, like you said, the ground type thing. So, but, you see where that went, right? And you know why? Because he wanted to make it free. Oh, they ain't having that. Noise Magician, you said, watch the video on Bali Sociable? Oh, barely sociable? Probably. Anyway, American Chinese scientists had a patent of anti-gravitics or anti-gravity. She has disappeared for a while. Wonder why. That's what I'm saying. Anything that throws basically a stick in the spokes, I don't care if it's anything that's got to do with production of whatever, powering, alternate power, they don't want that. This is the reason why, I don't know, I know you guys have heard of this, where you got people trying to get off the grid. They're actually getting fines because they're off the grid. Let me say. So you'd rather put a strain on the actual grid than have people live on their own? Well, they're not making money. You're getting free electricity. They can't have that. And that's what they don't want. And a lot of people are getting fines and they're told not to do it. They get literally big time fines. That's not cool. Oh, I forgot this thing's on. James Cragen said, Chris, the Irish government just promised the world that Ireland would have 60% of all vehicles electric by the year 2030. Haha, Jesus, Chris. They can't even supply lights in the hospital ward today, man. Well, you know as well as I do, the more they make these things, they have to update their grid. And guess where the money's going to come from to upgrade the grid? That's right, you'll be shelling out more money for your electric bill. It's, I do what I can to actually save, you know what I mean? Like I said, electricity and stuff like that. There's different ways of doing that. Saving water, so on and so forth. And, you still, every time you do that, the bills go up more and more. They're looking for another price hike. And it's like, okay, but then I ask other people, I go, man, I'm paying out, some decent amount of money, not a ton, but people are going, man, you should be lucky. Same house, same size house, like same square feet. they're paying probably $40 more a month. I'm like, good God. And I run, like I said, 2 computers, 3 monitors, this, that, and the other in the house. And it's like, I know my next door neighbor, his bill's about the same as mine, but he's only one guy living in there. One guy. And he's gone for a good part of the day. He'll be gone from like 10 o'clock in the morning, work a 12-hour shift, come back at 10 at night. And he's still using the same amount of electricity as I do. Figure that out. So either he's really careless with electricity, which he says he's really got nothing on. He's not home. So maybe the heat, he turned it down, he said, to like 67 while he's gone. He's got animals in the house, so he can't have it too cold. And then he comes back, and of course he'll turn it up a little bit, watch a little TV, and then go to bed. Repeat the next day. So, but yet I use just as little electricity as he does. So I must be doing something right. James Cragen said, Chris, exactly, man, we are the payers. Yeah, they're going to look for the money somewhere. It's not going to come out of their pocket. Ricardo, thank you very much for your support, man. I do appreciate it. He said, Adobe Content Aware, Phil, has populated this chat with appropriate comments, plenty texty or areas and interesting-looking emojis that appear mysteriously. Yeah, I've seen that, too. It's like, really? Just popping out of nowhere. Again, thank you, Ricardo. I appreciate you. Scientific search for extraterrestrials, says Chris, is also because of the neoliberalism, privatization, economic model. When basic services are controlled by private corporations, things get more expensive because they are profit-based. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yep. Miss Heard, you said, I'm out of here, folks. And many wonderful blessings to everyone. All right, Miss Heard, much love to you. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate your comments and jumping in there and having a great time. You have a good one there. Be safe. Have a good weekend. Good to have you in there, as always. Oops. Brian Baker said, as a child of England in the 1960s, there was a photo on the front page of the newspaper from the Americans showing a man reading a newspaper in the Russian park, and you could read the headline. So, yeah, exactly. Eric, you said, yeah, that's socialism. I'm all set with that. Yeah, I got you there, no doubt. Justin, you said, I want to apply for president for the United States of America. Probably should. Probably do a lot better job. Boysenberry Dracula, what's going on? He said, the UFOs, no people are incarnating for adventure on the Sword and Spear planet. Not sure what that means. Steve Gunner says, got to go, my waits. See you Earthlings next time. All right, Steve Gunner, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you jumping in there and having some good conversation and all kinds of good stuff. Yeah, I know. I seen that, Alfie. Problem solved. Yep. I've seen that, Taff. You said for the last 6 years I've essentially been working with just half a dozen global view lunar mosaics in various formats. I've seen that. Things come out good, too. Pretty sweet. Could be, John. John Beveridge, you said, do you reckon there's an alien race that has a show called Earth Anomalies and Beyond? Could very well be. It's hard to tell. They probably said, you know, we've seen these little things on this other planet. We get their radio broadcasts from some strange beings over there. Let me see. Let me see here. James, you said, Chris, I watched a vid you did back in 2016 where you put a few different pictures and vids into one whole video, etc. And Chris, I can honestly tell you it's top of the range. Well worth checking out. Oh yeah, it's just probably the ones I had, the ones at the moon and Mars. Pretty cool. Oops. Ricardo said 30 years ago I had an atlas of the moon. It was an A5 book with the most detailed maps you could imagine, better than the crap NASA or Google give us. Oh yeah. I remember a couple of people having books like that. The details on those things were phenomenal. Now it's like, it's, you know, blurred out here, blackened out here, all kinds of stuff. Elaine, you said winds are getting up 43 miles an hour at the moment locally to me in England. See, ours just died way down, and that's the reason why it's getting colder here. It's supposed to clear up, and because it was pretty much, it was kind of a cold day. Like I said, it got up to like 36. A few snow flurries this morning, that was it. And then it said, well, it's going to clear up. I went, no, of course. So it's going to get clearer. The wind's going to drop. That's two ingredients for the temperature to drop like a rock. Celtic Hammer, you taking off? He said, good night all, and thanks, Chris, for interesting chats and comments. Well, I appreciate you being here, Celtic Hammer, and thanks for the comments and questions, right? And we're going to be doing the same thing. I just realized, my God, it's already 8:13. Where does the time go, guys? Seriously. Folks, where does it go? I mean, we're there talking and chatting it up, and all of a sudden you look and you go, is that right? Yeah, that's just crazy. That is absolutely insane. But that's the way it goes. United States Space Command, Department of Defense. Yeah, you ought to check this page out too. I'll drop these. Now, I don't know if any of you guys want anything to do with those other pages I showed about the COVID and everything else. I got like, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of these pages, especially that one with the doctor here. Very, very informative. Of course, they try to, like I said, take him out and squish him out because they don't want any of this, you know, getting out because less and less people would get the shot. So they don't want that. But I know a lot of you guys are privy on all of this stuff already, so I don't know if I'd add those links. But as far as these here, this one here, this one, there's like 4 of these. I'll go ahead and add those tonight. But most people are already on as far as all of the other stuff. So Pete's vlog, he said, I'm out, guys. Be safe. Good night, friends. All right, Pete. Have yourself a good one there, right? Don't freeze over there, right? Not like we're doing over here. Alfie Joe Bob says, later, guys. Got to go. All right, Alfie Joe Bob, be cool. Have yourself a good weekend. Folks, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to jump on out of here, jump off this bad boy. We're going to have a good weekend, too. We're going to chill. And like I said, I got my project with a little radio and the antenna coming in tomorrow. And I'll be able to get that thing rocking and rolling and have a great time with it as well. So everybody, thanks for supporting the channel. Nothing but love for you guys. You guys are awesome. Great bunch of folks. Even the newcomers that jumped on board, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Don't forget, please hit the thumbs up. If you haven't done it already, I would appreciate it. And the thumbs down is already there ahead of you guys. They're try to hit it down as much as I can. So, you know, much love to them as well. And like I said, everybody just be cool. Have yourself a, well, if you can finish your turkey, if you got any leftovers, that shit's good. Yeah, everybody be safe, stay healthy. And what time is it now? We'll keep it on for another 10 minutes. So 8:15 my time, so I figure 25 past the hour. I'll leave it on. You guys can chit-chat a little longer. everybody be safe. Like I said, much love to everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the great support. You guys are just awesome. I can't say it enough. And like I said, we're going to jump off this thing. So everybody, have yourself a good one. Be safe, and we'll talk to you soon.